Can you believe it? It's finally here. It's the most wonderful time of the year, unless you get stressed out about how to pay for it. SaveWithConrad.com can help you make this the best Christmas ever. You won't make a house payment for the next 2 months. That's right. Skip your next 2 house payments and use all that cash for your extra holiday expenses. And come next year, you're going to have a lower monthly payment. Don't put Christmas on a credit card. Pay your credit card debt off at SaveWithConrad.com. NMLS number 65084, Equal Housing Lender. SaveWithConrad.com.
December 28th will mark the 25th anniversary of Starrcade 97, the culmination of a year-long build where Sting would finally step back in the ring to face Hollywood Hulk Hogan for the WCW World Heavyweight Championship. The stage was set for a main event to become immortalized in wrestling history, and it did, but for all the wrong reasons. And for the first time in over 20 years on that 25th anniversary, Eric Bischoff and Nick Patrick will reunite to watch back and discuss what really happened that night at the MCI Center in Washington, D.C. Hosted by Conrad Thompson, a topic that led to one of the most heated exchanges in the history of 83 weeks.
And now you're going to act like it's ludicrous that we might think that that's what happened here when you managed to fuck up the single biggest moment in the history of wrestling, and now 20 years later you get on here and lie through your fucking teeth and say it's because he wasn't tan.
I'm not lying through much, Chief.
You finished over a tan? Is this real?
Ad-Free Shows presents a premium watch-along event, The Fast Count, with Eric Bischoff and Nick Patrick, December 28th, 10 p.m. Eastern, immediately following AEW Dynamite. All $29 level members and higher are invited to join, and Top Guy members will be able to ask Eric and Nick questions about this controversial night in wrestling. No spray tan necessary. Sign up today and reserve your spot at adfreeshows.com.
WHW Monday. And now, let's go to the ring. And here's your co-host. Hey, it's Conrad Thompson.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson, and you're listening to What Happened When? With the voice of your childhood, Tony Schiavone. Tony, what's going on, man? How are you?
What's up, Conrad Thompson? How are you?
I am good. I am excited to be here. Why are you throwing me pitches?
I don't know. I'm just having a great time. It's great to be with you. And, of course, our producer, Dave Silva, and everybody who's joining us live here today.
Yeah, how about that, man? Pretty excited to have everybody here today. It's a big deal that we get to do this live over on WHW, the Patreon. It's patreon.com/WHW Monday. And, of course, you can catch it on adfreeshows.com as well. But yeah, live studio audience here. Shout out to Pondwater Dave and James and Rajiv and Allison and Eddie Prather. And it's a sellout at the curtain, as they like to say.
Yeah, Mark Nelson is here with us as well, and a lot of our friends. And it's great being with everybody. We're going to take a look at back at a Nitro from 1997. And we were just talking about this before we started recording. Hey, how much you remember about the show? And I remember nothing about it. So,
well, you remember that Bret Hart popped up, and that's what we're really talking about today. Bret Hart coming into the fold here for WCW. Of course, as we recall, the Montreal Screwjob happened in early November 1997. The very next day, Eric Bischoff and the NWO would all go out on camera holding little baby Canadian flags and announce that Bret Hart was coming to the NWO. We don't actually see him on the program until his contract's up, and this is his first time he's allowed to appear on camera. It's season 3, episode 50 on Peacock. So get your Peacock out, pull up Monday Nitro, season 3, episode 50. It went down December 15th, 1997. So as folks are listening to this, tomorrow would have been the exact 25th anniversary. This should be a lot of fun.
Yeah. This was right after the phony baloney Montreal Screwjob. So it should be a lot of fun.
Let's jump into it, man. I'm pretty excited about this. December 15th, 1997, season 3, episode 50. And I think we have a special countdown today, Tony.
Well, Megan Nelson sent us one with, she does some work with the IWC, International Wrestling Cartel. And, of course, is a good friend of mine and a big supporter. So this is a kind of a lengthy countdown, okay?
Okay.
And here it is.
Hey, Megan here, low-key big hog with What Happened When, Tony Schiavone's podcast. We just had Thanksgiving last week. Great time at the Schiavone house. Now I'm back in Pittsburgh watching the International Wrestling Cartel latest show. I'm here with the greatest of all time, Jock Sampson. And Jock, fellow What Happened When listener, and we're going to have you do the countdown today.
I get the honor and privilege to do the countdown. My name is Jock Sampson. I am the king of the one-night stand. When I'm not cheating on my wife with the love of my life, Missy Hyatt, and putting on my Crocs, mowing my grass, raising all kinds of hell, smacking the taste out of Cole Carter's mouth, I'm listening to the Tony Schiavone What Happened When podcast, baby.
That's awesome. Yeah. So we're getting ready to listen to this week's
podcast. We're gonna listen to it.
In 3,
2,
1, play.
That was Megan Nelson's last countdown, by the way.
Charlotte, North Carolina is rocking with the sounds of WCW Monday Nitro. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Independence Arena and welcome to the world's #1 professional wrestling program. Tonight, we are 3 solid hours of WCW action here in the month of December. Welcome to hour #1 of Nitro. Tony Schiavone, the Professor Iron Mike today, the living legend back with us, Larry Zbyszko. And Larry, a week ago on this program, we saw the NWO at the end of the program up to their old tricks. We are right now, fans, 13 days away from Starrcade, Sting and Hogan, and Sting reappeared 1 week ago.
Yeah, we also saw the look on Hulk Hogan's face.
Listen to that crowd.
Terrified look when he finally looked into the eye of the man he's going to be with face-to-face at Starrcade.
Out of the ceiling last week, the dummy dropped. The NWO, as we said, picking up what we all thought at that time was the dummy. And Mike, add on in here, if you will, because the NWO got a very, if I can use this term, rude awakening because Sting, after a month, reappeared.
Well, the NWO known for their minding. It was an opportunity for Sting to turn the tables on the New World Order, and he sure did it last Monday on Nitro.
Sting not only turned the tables, he shocked, as you said earlier, look at the face of Hollywood Hogan, and then Sting took control in the ring. Here was one man taking on the entire NWO, Larry.
He caught the New World Order off guard. You saw the look of shock on Hollywood Hulk Hogan's face, and look at Sting. He's cleaning the house with all these cowards.
And Hogan on the outside. Sting then gave Scott Hall the Scorpion Death Drop. But that was not all. He gave it to Kurt Hennig, and then Hogan and Sting literally went face to face at the end of last Monday. And in 13 days, there'll be no holding them back. The biggest match in pro wrestling history will take place tonight on this program as we head to Starrcade, 3 hours in length. And Bret Hart is here tonight. That's been the talk of the wrestling world the entire weekend.
Sure has, Tony. Ever since the NWO's futile attempt at singing "Oh Canada" several weeks ago on Monday Nitro and their shocking announcement about Bret Hart, there have been questions galore. Tonight, Bret Hart is going to be at Nitro, and maybe we'll get those questions answered.
Many people feel they do not believe he will be part of the NWO. We hopefully will answer that question tonight. One man that we know is part of the NWO, and one man who I personally called a coward this weekend on WCW Saturday night is Eric Bischoff, who also, in a matter of 13 days, must step in the ring with this man.
So listen, Tony, we're setting up Starrcade. We're doing the heavy sell right at the top of the program.
Are we ever?
When you take a look at this, does it, I mean, listen, I know you've talked about how you kind of felt like at times your entire tenure with WCW, you had your one foot on a banana peel because you thought this thing could end at any time. But
yeah,
when you take a look at how hot this is here, this has to bring you back to happier times. I mean, this is maybe one of the peak times of Nitro, no?
Yeah, you're exactly right. I feel that this was like This was like a great era. And I was thinking the same thing when I'm watching the Sting footage, how the fans were responding to it, the look of Sting, the look of him, people had thrown stuff in the ring, all the signs. It was a good era. It really, really was. And again, things didn't really start to go south really until like 2000, 3 years later. So this was a good time. 97, 98, 96, 97, 98 were good times to be a part of WCW. But again, I have trouble sometimes remembering this, but I think it's great that we can, crank it up and pique my memory. And one thing I listen to myself. I wish my voice was still like that. I don't know if I could do all that anymore.
Yes, you can.
I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know if I could. I mean, in today's, what we do today, we depend so much on Excalibur, and I love working with him. I just love letting him go, man, and do his stuff. I don't know. I really don't think that if anything ever happened to Excalibur, like let's say he was sick or something and they would call on me, which they've done once before, I don't know if I could really quarterback a show anymore. I don't know. But anyway, that's old age. And you and I were talking about this. Sometimes I have trouble remembering what happened when the week before.
Well, now let me ask you, Tony, I think some of that is because, and listen, that happens to me occasionally on the podcast where I'll get a DM from somebody and they'll say, "Hey man, what episode was it where you guys were talking about?" And it's like, I don't remember. And I wonder, is your inability to sort of recall some of that stuff on a short-term basis, is that because you're working in the business versus just being a fan? Is that part of the dynamic? Or do you think maybe it's just old age? Or, maybe it's just the fact that you have shit for brains?
It's probably the fact that I've got shit for brains. I had like friends, I'll give you an example. So where were we last week? We were in Austin, Texas. Where were we the week before? Indianapolis. Where are we the week before that? Chicago, because that was right before Thanksgiving. And then I have to stop and think because we travel. I mean, my travel pretty much is the same every week. Leave on Tuesday, stay up all night, do the show Wednesday. Basically, I don't get much sleep on Wednesday night and fly back home first thing on Thursday so we can work on Rampage. So it's the same schedule every week. And when you get the same schedule every week, it's like it kind of runs together. So here we got Curt Hennig and Rick Rude. My God.
Rick Rude, of course, has just popped up on the program.
Yeah.
He was on a taped episode of Monday Night Raw with a beard. He's going to appear here on the live episode of Nitro with a mustache. Not this particular episode. It's already happened by this point, but still a recent addition. And you take a look and you see this crew here. Scott Hall, former WWF guy. Liz and Savage, former WWF talent. Ravishing Rick Rude and Mr. Perfect, big WWF talent.
Mm-hmm.
The former Virgil is now Vincent, another WWF talent. Mm-hmm. And Hulk Hogan, perhaps the biggest, most iconic WWF talent of all time. Yeah. He's talking now. Let's take a listen.
House, because NWO brothers, you don't have to look under the ring. You don't have to look in the sky, because Sting, Charlotte's hero, is a coward. And he would never come out here face to face and come after Hollywood. And before I came out here, I looked in the mirror and I realized that I had to look smaller, because he certainly wouldn't come out here now. But the way Sting snuck up behind all the brotherhood of the NWO, the way he sneak attacked us behind our back, there's concern. And I'm going to search every crevice in this stinking building. And if I find the Stinger, anywhere around tonight. If he's hiding in any corner, I'm going to bring him out here, and I'm going to make sure that Sting is stung, and I'll do that tonight.
You heard it from the heavyweight champion of the world, Hollywood Hogan. Give it up for the man.
Listen, you said at the top of the show, Tony, that this is perhaps the biggest match in wrestling history. And of course, you used to say pretty routinely, oh, it's the greatest match in the history of our great sport.
Yeah.
But legitimately at this point, you know, you've been with this company, with the exception of the 1 year excursion to the WWF, since 1983.
Yeah.
So from 83 to 97, was this the biggest possible match?
Hogan and Sting, there was no question. It was built up. It was built up correctly. The steam for this one.
Let's take a listen to the NWO promo here.
Bisco. You don't want none of me. You couldn't even beat easy. Is this too good or what?
Have been paid for by the New World Order.
Let's talk about Eric Bischoff there. We see him routinely holding the microphone for Hulk Hogan. By the way, they're running NWO commercials coming in and out of the break. This is the height of the NWO here.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Yeah.
Bischoff has made himself the centerpiece of these NWO promos. It's just the guy holding the mic. All cool. But now we're going to see him make himself a more focus point of the program, where he's going to be in the ring with Larry Zbyszko on pay-per-view.
Yeah. How about that?
Now, Larry Zbyszko, of course, is quote unquote just an announcer, but we all know that he had quite the wrestling history in and out of WCW.
Living
And
legend.
now Eric Bischoff, who is not a wrestler, who was not even, I mean, he was brought in to be a commentator, but at this point, he's setting some new precedents. He's made himself a television character. He's put himself with the cool gang. Now he's putting himself on the biggest pay-per-view. Did you think that was going to be a challenge or a change, or did you notice a change in Eric during this era?
As far as what, his demeanor backstage, or what do you
Well, I mean, it's a controversial move sometimes to make the
say?
writer a television character, is it not?
Yeah, right. Yeah. In reality, the writer was Kevin Sullivan here. But Eric had final say on all this stuff and change things and on the fly. But yeah, I really noticed a change in Eric. Eric seemed to be, I think I brought this up before. Eric seemed to be more about being a member of the NWO than being the boss. Does that make sense?
Yes.
More about being a character than running the company. Not to say that I didn't think he did a good job of running the company, because, listen, we wouldn't have been in this spot without his leadership. But it seemed like Eric was more Eric Bischoff you saw on TV than Eric Bischoff in the backstage area.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's good or bad. I never did worry about it, because, he always kind of, one thing that I've said this many times, one thing I'll always will appreciate Eric Bischoff to the day I die was that Eric depended on me for a lot of stuff.
Right.
And just very rarely, sometimes he got in my shed, but very rarely would he, produce me. He just let me do it and was confident that I was able to do this stuff. So almost to, and I brought this up before, almost too much, because I ended up being on every show. Everything. Ended up doing Nitro and Thunder and the pay-per-views and WCW Saturday Night, and I was on the main event. I thought I did too much, and I got quote unquote overexposed. I really did. I didn't think I needed to be on all the shows, but there I was. And when you're put on, when they tell you to go and do one of the shows, you just do it. You don't say, "Oh, I shouldn't be on this show." You just do it. It's like a wrestler. If they say, "Hey, we want you to be on the main event on Nitro and on Thunder," a wrestler's not going to say, "I don't think I should be on it." you just go, you do it. So, but I really appreciate Eric's confidence in me. Well, what version of Big Bubba we got here now coming out?
Well, remember, there's been the version that's this is just regular ass Ray Trailer. But once upon a time, he is going to be a part of the Nitro, the NWO, and of course they're going to kick him out. So now we got Ray Trailer versus Vincent here. I love that little kid was mugging for the camera, and his mom covered his little fat face up with that Sting mask. That's so fantastic.
Hey, also want to shout out to Allison Faye, who's with us here today. Hello, Allison. I know you're there. We love you, girl.
The best.
Yep. And we really appreciate her being with us as we're doing this live, by the way. Oh, by the way, we were scheduled to go 11 o'clock Eastern time, but I understand JR wouldn't shut up. So there you go.
JR ran a little long, and as you know, Dave Silva had to take an old-fashioned country shit.
Yeah.
And so we're late today because not only could Dave not get his shit together, but he had to let it get out of his body.
Yeah. Oh, Lindsay's with us too. Hey, Lindsay Lopez. I see her with us.
How would Silva have fared back in the day if he was a professional wrestler who was going to be a surprise and he had to hide under the ring all day? We've heard that, in a pinch, guys had to take a shit under the ring. Do you think Silva could have done that? Could anybody have lived had he done that?
I don't think Silva could have squatted and fit under the ring.
He can walk under the ring. He doesn't have to lean down. That's a little known fact about Silva.
Well, here's a little known fact about the day. All three of us had to take a shit.
Yeah, I think it's part of life. I mean, I hope our listeners today, they too take a shit today.
Well, I usually shit at night. But
you're a night shitter.
I'm a night shitter. We've talked about this, but since I had such a very long night last night as we are taping this, I postponed my shit until the morning.
Well, forgive me, since as you pointed out, we've talked about this before. Somehow your shit schedule I did not have committed to memory, but I will work on that and I'll endeavor to do better.
I'm a night shitter.
I'm a morning shitter.
There you go.
Yeah.
And Dave's an all day shitter.
Yes, Dave is known to be around the clock shitting.
Yeah. So
there you go. Ray Trailer gets the win, and he had his head on a swivel. He was waiting on somebody else to come in.
Wow. Okay, Mickey J's no longer with us.
Nope.
Ray Trailer's no longer with us. We saw Scott Hall, who's no longer with us, and Rick Rude and
Mr. Perfect,
and Macho Man Randy Savage and Liz. My gosh, just.
And yet somehow you and Virgil are running around high-fiving.
Virgil's very sick too, which reminds me of being very sick. Barry Windham had a massive heart attack, I understand, in the Atlanta airport.
And I heard you wouldn't even go to that.
Would go to the Atlanta airport?
Right. Like, you won't come to my wedding. You won't go to Barry's heart attack.
So what do you want me to do? Oh, wait, here's the phone. Hang on a second. Okay. Yes. Hello. Barry had a heart attack in the airport. I'll be right there. What concourse? Okay.
Well, here's the point.
Okay. I got TSA pre-check. I'll get there quickly.
As we're recording, he's been in Atlanta hospital for 9 days. How many days have you gone to visit?
I only found out yesterday that he was in Atlanta hospital.
Oh, okay.
What hospital is he in?
I'll text you off here. I don't want to say
me off. Yeah,
okay. Listen, we're having a lot of fun here, busting balls, but for real, Barry Windham is in need of our help. So if you don't mind, we would really encourage you, really love to, really want to have you go to GoFundMe.com. And when you go to GoFundMe.com, in the top left-hand corner, it'll say search. And if you just type in Barry Windham, bam, there it is. And as you and I are recording, he's just shy of $42,000. He's got a $200,000 goal. It's unfortunate that so many of these guys who we hold in such high regard, the guys who entertained us for years and years and years, they no longer have insurance, man. They don't have access to health insurance the way you would in a traditional line of work. And he's obviously making appearances and doing the appearance circuit and all that sort of thing. But he's out of ICU. He's in stable condition, but he's got a long road ahead of him. And unfortunately, a pile of medical bills. Every little bit helps. Barry Windham was a big star in professional wrestling before the guaranteed money stuff really got out of control. So every little bit helps. Please go check out GoFundMe.com. Top left-hand corner, just hit the search and bam, type in Barry Windham and you're all set.
And this makes me think of this. Take
a look at this.
Great cohorts here, but 6 of the most beautiful women in the world join us each and every week. The Nitro Girls are here, Larry. Let me tell you something. Nitro is not going anywhere. The Nitro Girls are staying right where they are. Nitro is not leaving it unless it's over my dead bodies, and legends are forever. I know you meant body, but I can understand why you said bodies. Fans,
Did I say bodies?
This job gets better every week, doesn't it?
Freudian slip.
Fans, we want you to be part of the Nitro party. Send us your video.
We got to do a Nitro party together, Tony.
Really?
Can we do that, you think?
Well, you mean like all congregate in one place?
Yes.
Would that mean that I would have to come to Huntsville?
No, I'll come to Atlanta.
Yeah.
I mean, even when Barry Windham comes to Atlanta, you don't go visit him. So why would you go visit me?
Hey, can I say something here, first of all, motherfucker? I'm going to go see him, okay?
Why are you mad at me? Why are you hot at me?
I'm mad at you because you're making a big fucking deal out of it. I didn't even know he was in Atlanta hospital till fucking today.
Yesterday, you knew yesterday. Now today, you know today.
Yesterday, I was in Dallas, okay? I really couldn't go yesterday. Oh, Lord.
Tony, I don't know if you know this or not, but
Oh, Yuji Nagata. Okay, go ahead.
I'm just busting your balls, man.
Yeah, I know.
It's not real.
I know. My whole fucking life's been phony. Lord.
So, Yuji Nagata coming to the ring, managed by Sonny Ono.
Whoa. You know who was in the front row there?
Who?
I think that was Ashley in the front row.
Was it?
I believe so. You know, this is in Charlotte.
Charlotte. Yep.
Yeah. What is now the Bojangles Arena.
So Charlotte was in the front row in Charlotte.
I believe that was her.
Man, I'll have to get a shot of that.
Yeah.
We'll make sure we throw that up on our in post.
It looked a little bit too old for her, but it sure did look like Ashley. Anyway, I don't know if Rick would have allowed these kids in the front row though.
Well, yeah, he did it in the WWF. Well, okay. I mean, years later in his second WWF run, she was there in the front row. Yeah. Here comes your favorite podcast extraordinaire and television champion.
Yeah.
Tony Schiavone's favorite wrestler, Disco Inferno.
Man, nobody was over like him, right?
He knows all about getting over.
Yeah, he was over more than 95% of the guys on TV. And you know why? Because he knew how to get over.
That was sarcasm from Tony Schiavone. If you
okay, is that Ashley in the front there with the black? She just brushed her hair back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looks like her.
It looks like her. So
maybe we'll get another shot of her, but yeah, she definitely had the eyes and nose gimmick going on.
Well, you know what? I do need to say this about Disco because even though he's a fucking know-it-all now, I love that sign, Regal Rules. He knew the gimmick, man. He really did. He knew that. See, yeah, he was always moving. Did have that disco gimmick, you know.
Yeah, the more I look at that, the more I do think that's probably you might be onto something. That might be a very young Charlotte sitting front row.
Yeah,
for an old Nitro. How about that in Charlotte? Which, by the way, we talked over as you were talking about Eric Bischoff earlier. We talked over a really good promo that was a recap from the promo that Flair did last week.
Yeah,
where he was calling out Bret Hart, saying you got to call him in your local newspaper there. And you're talking about WCW and you're talking about being the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be. Yep. Come to Charlotte sometime, pal. And of course, Bret Hart is here in Charlotte. We're going to be building towards Ric Flair versus Bret Hart as the first program. That's going to be one of the marquee matchups for the January pay-per-view, sold out 1998. In hindsight, do you think Bret should have been positioned and programmed with someone other than Rick?
I don't know. I always thought that was a match we wanted to see, right?
Yes.
So no. I mean, I just really think that Bret was. I don't know.
You stopped yourself from saying something.
Well, Bret Hart is one of the great professional wrestlers of all time. But to me, I like the Hart Foundation.
Yeah.
You know, better than I like Bret as a singles wrestler.
What? Okay. Well,
I did. Yeah, I did. Maybe it's because that my first dealings with Bret Hart was Bret and Jim Neidhart in WWE in 1989. Maybe that's the reason. That's what I remember. I just thought that was a great tag team. And I missed Bret Hart becoming a great singles wrestler because I was here working in Nitro. And I didn't watch any of that stuff. I mentioned that, you know, it's like I don't watch Raw or SmackDown now. I didn't watch Raw back then. So it just, I don't know. I know he was great, but he just wasn't, to me, as great as a Ric Flair.
right.
I mean, I missed a lot of the great, and I've gone back. You know, you and I have gone back and watched some of the WWE stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and and some of the shit that he did was like, wow, tremendous. But still, Bret Hart in my mind is the Hart Foundation.
Listen, let's mention that I think all of us are fans of what we quote unquote grew up on.
Right.
And you, for lack of a better word, grew up on Ric Flair.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, but if you grew up watching the WWF and that was your primary wrestling show, it's no wonder that you feel like Bret Hart is your Ric Flair. But your Ric Flair is Ric Flair, so that's
Right.
all. You're just fans of what you grew up on. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I like football teams that win
Yeah.
and barbecue that tastes good,
Mm-hmm.
and not having to deal with bullshit Atlanta traffic, and you know, visiting my friends in their time of need and being there to celebrate their happy days.
Yeah.
That's the things that I like to do. And we know that you don't give a fuck about any of that stuff. It's been well documented.
Okay. There was a left-handed punch. Hey, I see that Coach Keith is with us. Coach, hope the Raiders finally win a game this weekend. Let's see who else we got with us.
Oh, you know who else we got with us? We got Tony Schiavone.
Yeah.
Did you realize that you were once again in the discussion for the Wrestling Observer Hall of Fame?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So who got inducted into that Hall of Fame this time?
Buddy, I'm so excited to talk to you about this.
Okay.
I've been waiting a few days to talk about this because
all right.
I think you're going to love it. Oh my gosh, we just saw Sonny Ono catch a Stone Cold Stunner, or as he called it, a blockbuster.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about Disco Inferno just straight up ripping off Steve Austin's finish?
Mm-hmm. At the time, I didn't know what it was about because I didn't watch Steve Austin's finish. But,
Right.
you know, does it surprise you that the Disco could not do anything original?
Well, here's the point you were trying to make earlier. Disco, who recently said that 95% of today's wrestlers don't know how to get over, he knew how.
Yeah.
Steal the top guy from the other show's finish. It's right out of the Disco playbook.
Okay, so what do you were excited about something?
Well, I'm excited to talk to you about the Hall of Fame.
Okay.
The Wrestling Observer Hall of Fame. Sergeant Slaughter did not get in.
Oh.
Paul Orndorff did not get in.
Oh.
The Junkyard Dog did not get in.
Okay.
Jack and Jerry Briscoe did not get in. Dynamite Kid and Davey Boy Smith did not get in. Randy Orton did not get in. Matt and Jeff Hardy did not get in. Arn and Tully with JJ did not get in.
Okay, you could probably stop right now and say, this Hall of Fame, all respect to Dave Meltzer, ain't worth a fuck.
Hang on. The guys who did get in,
Okay.
Akira Tao and Kawada.
Run that one by me again.
Akira Tao and Kawada. Tao and
Okay.
Kawada got in.
Okay, Cal and Kawada. Okay.
Mystico got in.
Okay.
Kota Ibushi got in.
Oh, Bushi got in. Good.
Naito got in.
I see where we're going. Okay.
Los Fianos got in.
All right.
And Rollerball Mark Rocco got in.
All right.
But again.
Okay, so that Hall of Fame ain't worth a fuck now, as we all have as we all have established. Okay.
Hang on now. Are you saying that you think the Steiner brothers should be in ahead of Kota Ibushi? Are you suggesting that Arn and Tully should be in ahead of Mystico?
Oh, wow. Why should I?
How dare you suggest that the Briscoes or the British Bulldogs should be in ahead of Naito?
The rollerball guy.
Rollerball Mark Rocco. Are you suggesting that he shouldn't be in and that perhaps Junkyard Dog should be? Is that what you're saying on this program?
Probably next week you'll see Meltzer put in Buck Zumoff right out of jail and all these sexual crimes.
Sexual crimes?
You ever read about Buck Zumoff?
Oh, I know all about Buck. I'd rather not talk about Buck.
Yeah, it's terrible. Okay.
Let's talk about this, though. As we're talking over a really fun match with Dean Malenko and Fit Finley.
Oh, man.
I really hope you'll go watch this because we're not going to make fun of anything with Fit Finley or Dean Malenko. This is season 3, episode 50. I don't know when you'll see these guys wrestle. They couldn't have wrestled that many times, but this is going to be fun. Okay. But I think it's more fun to talk about the fact that, and this is real. Check this out, dude.
Okay.
SEMA. Edge. Okay. So like Edge. Okay. You know who Edge is? You've heard Edge?
Yes, I have.
He got 87 votes into the Hall of Fame.
Okay.
Kevin Carey and David Von Erich, they got 86 votes into the Hall of Fame.
Okay.
Randy Orton got 85 votes into the Hall of Fame.
Oh, God.
Tony Schiavone got 84. Edge, the Von Erichs, Randy Orton, and Tony Schiavone in that order. And then Mike Tenay got 83 votes. You got more than Mike. Okay. Suck it, Mike. I think I speak for you. Suck it, Tenay. You didn't get it. Tony Schiavone did. He got one more vote than you. And you know who else can suck it? Who? Arn and Tully. They got 81 votes. You got more votes into the Hall of Fame than Arn and Tully.
Right.
So next time you're at TV and Arn's there, you strut that ass and remind him. You see, I got more votes than you in the Observer Hall of Fame.
I remind Arn all the time. I remind him of two things. That, man, your head is as big as a jack-o'-lantern, and why do you try to keep smuggling watermelons under your shirt when you come to TV?
You should also strut that ass around Matt and Jeff Hardy next time you see them at TV. They got 78 votes. Tony Schiavone, you got more votes into the Hall of Fame than the Hardy Bros.
Wow.
As if that's not enough, there's a fella running around claiming to be our tribal chief.
Yeah.
The top star in wrestling. He called himself Roman Reigns. He got 81 votes. Tony Schiavone got more votes than Roman Reigns.
Okay, so, well, look, Roman's career is not done. Hall of Fame is for guys who are pretty much done, don't you think? Unless
Kota Ibushi got in.
Yeah,
Naito got in.
Of course.
So I'm just saying, if Kota Ibushi can go in, are you telling me that Roman Reigns? My point is, our new shirt available now at lowestrules.com. Tony greater than Roman.
Oh, God. Really?
Yeah, why not? Fuck it. You got more votes. Those are facts.
Please do not buy that shirt.
Please buy that shirt.
No, please don't.
By the way, dropped from next year's ballot. No longer even fucking eligible.
Okay.
Adrian Adonis and Jesse Ventura. Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty. Blackjack Mulligan. Harley Race and Larry Hennig.
Stop the
Mr. Wrestling 1 and 2. They're not in. Naito's in. Fucking Ibushi's in.
Stop. Shawn Michaels is no longer eligible to be in that Hall of Fame?
As a tag team act with Marty Jannetty.
Fuck.
You're about to get hot and bothered.
Yeah, man.
I didn't know you had a thing for Shawn. Now I know.
I think Shawn's the greatest wrestler of all time. I'm sorry.
Now, come on now.
Yeah.
You know Eddie Kingston's still on your roster.
Well, I didn't say that Shawn was my favorite, but I said he was the greatest wrestler of all time.
By the way, every week or every year, the Observer will post what he calls the 75% club, meaning guys who got 75% of the votes to be in the Hall of Fame. And I'm happy to announce that I think maybe our show had a little bit of something to do with Jim Crockett Jr. going in. He went in 2021.
Oh, great.
With 82% of the vote. But what's fascinating to me is Rey Mysterio went in with 75% of the vote. Mystico goes in with 76%. Kawada and Tao go in with 76%. When Steve Austin went in, he only got 77%. That's amazing to me.
Yeah.
That Steve Austin was just 1% better than Mystico.
Hey,
isn't it interesting?
Who votes on this?
It's a real I mean, it really is a voting deal. It's former wrestlers, it's reporters, it's historians. It's a lot of folks.
Yeah. Let me say this. And last year he sent me a ballot. Dave did.
Yeah.
And I didn't fill it out. And it's not because I didn't want to. It's just because I missed the deadline. It stayed in my inbox. I missed the deadline because I can tell you this. I do subscribe to the Wrestling Observer, but I don't read it. It goes into my spam folder.
I do something similar. I have a treadmill downstairs, but I don't use it. But I have it.
Okay.
I guess it's just past the deadline for me now.
No, here's why. Because I feel that Dave has really been, I know he has shit on me in the past, and probably deservedly so. All the shitting on me.
Oh, but you've shit on Dave many times.
Well, yeah, we shit on Dave all the time. But Dave and I really have always gotten along. I consider him a friend. And I just subscribe to his newsletter. I sent it to my daughter, Laurie. She reads it. I subscribe to his newsletter just because I want to give him some money to support what he's done for wrestling.
Oh, wow. I like that. That's well said, man. And I thought you were subscribing because you wanted to be a stooge like Terry Taylor before you. WCW Nitro is going to commercial, and we are too, Tony. I'm at 36:03. I'm going to hit it at 5. And there it is. Right before an NWO commercial, it's time for us to take a commercial for. I think I can hear that Christmas music a little bit in the background. Or we got some sort of music in the background. Here it comes. Tis the season for clean balls. Fa la 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 la. Our friends at Manscaped are helping you clear your driveway for safe travels this holiday season. From stocking stuffers to white elephants, Manscaped's products are at the top of every wish list. So grab some crop mops for your pops, or the body buffer for the holiday lover. Win this year's white elephant gift and help all the men in your life go from eggnog to nice hog this December by going to manscaped.com and using the promo code WHW for 20% off plus free shipping. I got to tell you, I've gifted Manscaped before, and it is the gift they will not forget. What do you think? What'd you get your uncle? What'd you get your dad? What'd you get your cousin? Like, they don't remember. Here's another pro tip. They don't want a damn tie or socks. But if you get them Manscaped, they'll never forget it. They'll laugh. They'll tell everybody around. They'll show it around the room. Manscaped is the gift they don't forget. We're talking about the Platinum Package 4.0. What's better than gifting the gift of good hygiene and a few laughs? They got all your liquid formulations over at Manscaped. The shampoos, the body washes, the gels, the exfoliants. And as Tony Schiavone knows, not just regular armpit deodorant, but deodorant for your sack meat, son. That's right. Old Stinky Balls Schiavone, as they used to call him down in Atlanta. Well, no more. Now, as he's making towns, he's doing it with fresh-smelling nutsack.
Wow.
Don't let the chestnuts roast in the wrong boxers. Get a easy breezy pair from Manscaped Boxers here. And how about those nasty-ass nose hairs? I'll never forget. Before Manscaped came along, Tony Schiavone had a nose hair. It tasted his food before he did. But not anymore. The Weed Whacker nose and ear hair trimmer is here. We still got to get Tony to use his Shears 2.0. If you're watching on video, you see that he's got what's known as a Coke pinky nail. It's not because he does cocaine. He's not nearly cool enough for that. He's just a fucking degenerate hillbilly from West Virginia. But not anymore. I got him Shears 2.0. Little spoiler here. He's going to have scissors, clippers, tweezers, and a file for the traveling man. Now it's just up to him to use it. Or does he didn't used to shower. But he's changing. We all are. He used to just cover up with cologne. That's why I got him preserved cologne. It's a light, breezy, woodsy feel. He needs a body buffer, though. I heard a rumor he's still using a dirty-ass loofah filled with bacteria. Not anymore, though. Little spoiler, body buffer coming at you, Tony. It's a body scrubber that feels smoother but acts tougher. And who could forget the Lawnmower 4.0? I'll never forget. I got a frantic call from Tony Schiavone a couple years ago. And he said, man, things are progressing at work. And I said, oh, are you getting a raise? He goes, no, I'm going on a date with Rebel. I said, Tony, they're doing things different now than they did back in your day. And he said, they are? I said, they are. And he said, what do I need? You need to trim down your pubes, Tony. It looks like you got Chewbacca in a head scissor. Get a lawnmower down there. And if you get a Lawnmower 4.0, that motherfucker's got a light on it. A 4000K LED light. It's also got skin-safe technology. So Lois's little family jewels that she hadn't seen since the 80s, they're not going to get nicked. Manscaped is here to make the holiday shopping a blast. Give some products that'll make them laugh. And they won't forget it. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code WHW at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. Just use the promo code WHW. Manscaped, for a perfect gift that will be the holidays' biggest hit. Tony, this is a nice song to shave your nuts to, is it not?
It's a great shave your nuts to song there, Scrotum Breath. You are exactly right.
That's exactly right, JR. And with that note, let's get back to the NWO. I'm at 36:05. I'm going to count us in here in 3, 2, 1, play.
The following announcement has been paid for by the New World Order.
Piper, this is a public service. Thank you.
No heart, no soul, no will to win. I'm talking about Roddy Piper.
You, my friend, just a depths of humanity. Piper. You make me sick.
I've been wearing this doggone thing since I've been 5.
I don't know how much of a woman. Piper, he really is underneath that skirt.
And it's like this.
It's the nature of the beast.
Piper.
You don't pipe. We take old bosses like you, Piper. Piper. Choke him out, big man, and put you to rest. You are not an icon. Pack it up and get out of my sport and get out of my face. That is the end. Thank you. Of Roddy Piper.
The preceding announcement has been paid for by the New World Order.
It does make me wonder as we see Raven and his flock sitting in the front row. I guess it's not Raven. It's actually everybody else. We got Van Hammer with his titties out. We got Perry Saturn.
Maybe Raven's getting ready to wrestle.
Yeah, they saved him a seat, maybe.
Yeah. You know, I thought Raven's flock was. Listen, with all these vignettes by the NWO, with the Sting thing, with the Luchadors now coming out to wrestle, with Dean Malenko wrestling, with Eddie Guerrero with us, and the great story with and now Bret Hart. Why? How did we fucking fail?
I mean, it's a big time show, man.
Yeah,
no doubt about it.
Yeah. How did we fucking fail?
Well, I don't know that you did. I mean,
well, we did.
Well, I mean, eventually, but not here. Raw's back to a 2.71.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Nitro is going to do a 4.11, which is crazy. It peaks at 4.9.
Right.
In the 8:45 to 9 p.m., which is Mysterio Jr. versus and Guerrero against Parka and Psychosis. So this segment right here is going to be the most watched segment on the show.
Okay.
Which really tells you a lot about the Luchadors and their importance.
Yeah.
I think the 4 biggest Luchador icons that WCW had in this match, La Parka, Psychosis, Juventud, and Ray. These are the 4 biggest stars there, are they not?
Yeah.
I don't really count Conan as Luchador. I guess I should, but I don't.
Yeah, but and he's now a part of the NWO, and I guess he's out of this Luchador light heavyweight or cruiserweight, whatever you want to call it that time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So listen, we were talking earlier, and I was busting your balls about a variety of things, but I wanted to mention this past Wednesday, I got to watch Dynamite with a great close personal friend of the show, Cassio Kidd.
Mm.
And you had a sit down interview. And of course, we both noticed immediately you were rocking your now signature Tommy Bahama.
Right.
And I think we should get you your own clothing line, and we should call it Tony Bahama.
Yeah. That would certainly, I'm sure Mike Dawkins could work on that.
What? You don't think we can do that, Tony Bahama?
No, you can't do Tony Bahama.
Why not?
Look, I don't know. How about, I don't know. You can't use Bahama.
Why not?
Because the Tommy Bahama people will come after you, Conrad. You're smarter than that.
But it's different, you see.
Yeah, okay.
Here's what you do. You do the old Nikita Koloff. It ain't fuck me, it's fuck you. I'm going to change my name. Now, here's the thing. Nobody, I don't know if you know this or not, but nobody online can spell Schiavone anyway.
Yeah, I know.
So why don't you just legally change your name to Tony Bahama?
Hey, the fucking comic book people couldn't spell my name.
Oh, yeah, nobody can.
Yeah, how about that?
I mean, it's fun when I see somebody post online how they've been a wrestling fan for 40 years and then they put a K in your name.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Right? Like, how is that possible?
Well, that's because they're probably a fucking idiot that put a K in my name.
Well, no doubt. There's not a K in there.
Yeah.
Anyway, has your daughter been chatting with you? Has she told you that she and I have been discussing this this predicament we're in with Tony Bahama?
No. My daughter probably wouldn't bother me with this bullshit, but go ahead.
Well, she and I were texting this week, as we do.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a conversation about the way you were dressed.
Oh, I'm sure. I have to change when I go do a live interview on Dynamite. Almost said on Nitro. Anyway, when I do a live interview on Dynamite, I have to change my shoes, because if I don't, then I'm going to hear from my daughter and Conrad Thompson and his group of whacks. And now I can hear from my son, who's standing backstage waiting for me to walk back.
Well, here's a either the pic or the text. We'll see. It's a surprise because Dave Silva's running it. There it is. That's the shot that your daughter sent me. You see the Blackpool Combat Club there. We got Wheeler Yuta, we got John Moxley, we got Cesaro, and there you are.
All right. Wow, look at that.
And
belly.
Your daughter sent a text, and we may have the text ready. It says, "Name a more clueless man in wrestling, ... I will wait, ... And I replied, "My goodness, what a text.
Okay.
What a pic."
Wow.
She also said that with your hair being grown out,
Yeah.
now you look like Cash Wheeler's dad.
Wow, my daughter's like, she's dropping
She's
some
brutal
bombs here. Yeah.
She's brutal.
And I just paid her for the month. Good thing you didn't tell me this 2 days ago.
Well, fuck me to tears.
Well,
you know?
yeah. You know what? That picture, what a fat ass fucking picture.
What does that mean?
It means I'm a fat ass. Look at this. Look at the shit they're doing.
Dude, they're all over the place. This looks like, you want to talk about wrestling ahead of its time?
Way.
This could have been from this past Wednesday, but this was 25 years ago.
Here they go. All right.
Spin kick, one drop kick, and now somersault flip over the top. Incredible double dive that time.
All right. That is actually called a tope con hierro. Thank you, Excalibur, for educating me.
By the way, it wasn't called that back then.
No, it wasn't.
No. Back then it was called a dive over the top rope, Tommy.
Which is what it is. I mean, you could realistically.
You know what I just realized?
What?
Have you ever?
Oh God.
Have you ever been to dinner at a restaurant? Yes.
Okay.
Lord bless her. Dave Silva's wife, when she goes to a restaurant, she becomes Excalibur. Meaning you and I would just call that move we just saw a dive over the top rope.
Right.
But old Excalibur, he wants to call it what now, Tony?
Tope con hero.
That is how Dave Silva's wife orders food at a Mexican restaurant.
Really?
Dave Silva's wife is like from the middle of nowhere, Michigan.
Yeah.
As just pure as the driven snow, white as you can imagine.
Yeah.
But she married a somewhat Hispanic man named Dave Silva.
Somewhat.
And I mean, not really, but a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But now she just goes full blown when she orders. She's rolling her R's and
God bless her.
Yeah. So she'll go from talking like this. She'll go, and for starters, we'll have the jalapeno. And then I want a Diet Coke. Then a quesadilla. I mean, she does it just like that. And we're like, this is the most fucking borderline offensive thing we've ever seen. But I guess it's approved because she's got a full-blown, somewhat Hispanic man in her elbow, and it's fine. Yeah. But she'll do it at Japanese restaurants too. She'll order the food with an accent. And I just realized Excalibur is the wrestling equivalent of that. He won't just call the move. He's got to lean into it like that lady who's a little too familiar ordering ethnic foods.
There was a move that he called one time. I think I mentioned this before. And to me, to me, explains Excalibur to a T. First of all, he's just a wonderful kid. And I just love working with him. When I first met him, I wasn't sure, right?
Yeah.
But just really love working with him. There was a move that he usually calls, I can't remember the move, some way. But he called it something else he called it the Mexican Hispanic version of whatever it was. And I asked him afterwards, I said, why did you change the name of that move? He said, well, I called it the Hispanic version because it was an Hispanic wrestler doing the move.
Yes.
And I'm thinking, wow, that's next level shit, dude. Fist bump to you, buddy. By the way, a tope con hero is over the top. Tope suicida is diving through the ropes.
We all do that.
Atomic drop is one way. The Manhattan drop is another, and it's called Manhattan because of atomic. Manhattan. You get it? Manhattan
I'm ready.
Project. Okay. Mean Gene. Cue him.
I want you to listen very closely. It's a very special evening for this great city and for wrestling fans around the country and around the world. First of all, the chief here in Charlotte, Chief Steiner, joined by Major Barnes and Doug Dillinger, head of WCW Security, retired Charlotte PD, I might add. And this is all going to make sense as I introduce to you a gentleman who has got to have one of the most fantastic work ethics. He had a tremendous career. He is one of your own, Charlotte. Please welcome Double A, the Enforcer, Arn Anderson. Oh, yeah.
So a big intro here for the hometown crowd. Arn Anderson, of course, lives in Charlotte by this point and has for many years. Of course, we know he's recently offered up his spot just a few months prior, retired from in-ring competition, but looking dapper Dan here with the double-breasted coat and the black T-shirt coming down looking like the man in black. You know, of course, he's a big member of the Four Horsemen. I don't know that you saw this, but this past week, Eric Bischoff and Ric Flair really got into it on Twitter. I think Dave Silva's got some of those tweets that we might want to post or share.
Oh,
but
God.
There's a big reaction from the folks going back and forth here. Rick posted the video of his return from 1998 and said, "Really, Eric? You don't understand? Really?" And Eric clapped back and said, "This was some of your best work ever. I'm so glad I made you." And then as fans started to argue about who made Rick and all that jazz, Eric couldn't help himself and was responding to criticism, saying nobody outside of the Carolinas cared about the Horsemen. The Horsemen nor Flair was really a draw, and that's the reason I had to bring Hulk Hogan in, because WCW with Flair as a top guy had never turned a profit, and we didn't until we had Hulk Hogan. Sorry, those are the facts.
Wow.
What do you make of that who made who, and WCW never turned a profit until Hogan got here. I guess that is a fact.
That is a fact.
What say you?
Well, I hate to say this, but Eric is right about never turned a profit until Hulk Hogan got here. But I don't think you can lay the blame at the foot of Ric Flair. Even though
I agree. And that's what I said, because as he's like, well, Crockett never made money and they went bankrupt. And I'm like, whoa. Crockett made money every year. Maybe they lost some in 87. They definitely lost in 88.
Right.
They had their best year ever in 84, and they beat it in 85, and they beat it in 86.
Right.
And Eric was kind of deflecting on this week's 83 weeks, saying, well, I mean, we were obviously doing better. And I'm like, whoa, hang on. You out of your own mouth said you didn't make a profit until 95.
Right.
So you made profit in 95, 96, 97, 98. So what you were running was only profitable for 3 years. The Crockett's were profitable all but 1 or maybe 2. I don't know. What say you?
Yeah. About what?
About the whole, did Ric Flair's career matter? Were the Horsemen a draw? Was Crockett a joke? Is it all less than? I mean, he's positioning it as if Hogan was a national star and Flair was a regional star.
We were a regional promotion.
With national TV.
Georgia Championship Wrestling was a regional promotion with national TV.
So was the WWF.
Right. But they became the top promotion because Vince McMahon knew what he was doing. And number 2, they were based out of the media center of the country, New York City. There always was, and Eric was a part of this, there always was I don't know how you say it, a bias against the South. You know that.
Yes.
There's a bias against the South today, even stronger than ever. Because people in the South are known as hillbillies, idiots, stupid people, racists. And there was always a bias in the South back then. I've told the story before that when I said, welcome to the Lawrence Joel Coliseum for Monday Nitro, the home of the Wake Forest Demon Deacons, Eric, who very rarely got mad at me and said, why would you say that? The Wake Forest Demon Deacons, they don't mean shit on a national level. And I didn't say anything, and I wanted to say, well, you dumb fuck, you don't watch college basketball, do you?
Right.
And he didn't. But because Wake Forest was a Southern college, university, Eric was doing the same thing to WCW here that I mentioned this before, that NASCAR has done. They're embarrassed of the South, of what they've meant throughout the years, and they want to move to make it a national promotion. Vince McMahon never had that stigma, never had that problem. So there you go. Flair's starting to take off his clothes here.
Yeah, he just gave a check to the police force, and now it's time to get down to business.
Of the enforcer, on behalf of Charlotte, North Carolina, I want this great company to send in a video of the greatest Monday Nitro party of all time. That means Kurt Hennig, I'm calling you out tonight in Charlotte. Woo! Because we in Charlotte, can dance all night and dance a little longer. And Hennig, you and the whole NWO can't beat me up in Charlotte, Jack.
Thank you very much, Arn Anderson. Thank you, Nature Boy Ric Flair. Ladies and gentlemen, do not leave your television set tonight. Stay here with us on TNT.
So there you go. They're going to commercial, and we will too here. Tony, I'm at 54:06:07. I'm going to hit it when we get to 10. And there it is. It's time to take a little bit of a break here to talk about something that's important.
Okay.
Lots of adults choose to use nicotine, but there is a right way and a wrong way to do it. Now, not everyone uses nicotine, but if you do, you'll want to listen up. Get ready. This is an ad for Lucy Breakers. If you're one of the millions of adults who use nicotine, you know that not all products are the same. And there's one new product that stands above the rest. Lucy Breakers are the only nicotine pouch that gives you a blast of flavor from the first moment to the last. Each pouch contains a capsule that you break open to release a rush of flavor that doesn't fade away like those other pouches. You know, the ones that rhyme with thin. They come in so many flavors: mint, berry, citrus, mango, even espresso. And you don't have to go to the gas station or corner store to get them. Just order online and they'll be shipped straight to your door. And every order gets free shipping. Plus, if you subscribe, you'll save 15% off and never run out. Now, this has been a lifesaver at my office. There's a fellow there who he's been going out in the weather to get his nicotine fix, and it's pretty cold. And I recently saw him even trying to dodge the raindrops. Not anymore. I said, hey man, try these Lucy Breakers. Let me know what you think. Bam! Now he's enjoying it from his desk, and you can too. And Tony, I think based on the way that music sounds, we've got a special deal for our listeners.
Right you are, Mango Breath. So whether you use nicotine while working, creating, or playing, Lucy Breakers are the intelligent choice, and we've got a special deal for our listeners. Get $10 off your first order when you use our promo code WHW at checkout. And don't forget, shipping's always free. That's lucy.co. Promo code WHW to receive $10 off and free shipping. Visit lucy.co for more details. We thank Lucy for sponsoring the podcast. Here comes the fine print. Lucy products are only for adults of legal age, and every order is age verified. This product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
So one more time, Tony, that's lucy.co. The promo code is WHW. Get yourself $10 off and free shipping. And let me mention, if you've got somebody who enjoys nicotine in your life and you're looking for them to maybe have a different alternative, this is going to be an excellent Christmas present for the person who uses nicotine in your life. That's lucy.co. The promo code is WHW and receive $10 off. And Tony, I'm at 5410 here, and I'll count us back in here in 3, 2, 1, play. That was a statue of Tony Schiavone consoling Jim Ross after JR cut his ball meat before he had Manscaped. But as we all know, JR is a single man and footloose, fancy free, and he heard the kids were trimming their junk.
Yep.
Looks like an episode of CSI Oklahoma.
Yep.
We memorialized it in bronze there.
Okay,
let's hear from JJ.
Yeah, let's hear from JJ.
Is that a statue or is that JJ? Let's find out.
Well, Eric Bischoff has tried everything that he can possibly do to stop this match. He keeps throwing up obstacles, conditions, but I'm determined.
A lot of this thing. Whoops, did I say the?
Yeah.
Excuse me. First of all, tub of guts.
Whoa.
I have not tried to do everything to get out of this match. Bite me, will ya? A man his age should not have his head on buckets. This is hard on you, I could tell.
First thing I thought of here, too.
Don't worry, you just stay right there. Bischoff. First of all, I don't care if somehow or another you con somebody into putting up Nitro. This is not fair.
Look at the shot, the way that shot of Eric is done. You can see Zbyszko in the background. That's well done.
Yeah.
Who would have been in charge of, is the term blocking a shot like that?
That probably would have been Keith Mitchell.
Well, it's well done. I mean, you can take a look. You get a perfect shot there.
Right.
And that cameraman, he's cheating it over every now and again. There you go.
Yeah. That's
well
good.
done. Of course, we know we're 13 days away from Bischoff and
I'll get in the ring with him. But if you back me in the corner, if I have to fight, I'll fight. But you got to agree to one thing. Since I can't wrestle, punches count, kicks count, and knockouts count. Otherwise, forget it. He says no deal without those stipulations, JJ.
Well, to start with, I don't like this man personally, and I'm not going to say anything behind your back that I wouldn't say to your face. And I feel that a blob of flubber has more backbone than you do. But this match is going to take place. I agree, but there's one more thing before I agree. If we're going to go that route and let your martial arts background, I'm no fool. I know what you're trying to do. But because the living legend has a wrestling background, I'll agree to it if you'll agree that submissions count.
Oh, submissions don't care.
Knockouts
count. Knockouts count, right? Kick to the head is legal. Whether he's up, whether he's down, knockouts count, right? You're on. And submissions also count. He agreed to that. He made both.
Bischoff, by the way, is 42 years old here, Tony. It's hard to imagine, you know, and this is something we don't talk about a lot. But I think Tony Khan just turned 40.
Yeah.
Tony Khan and Eric Bischoff were both running giant wrestling organizations at a really relatively young age, were they not?
40 is very young to be running a wrestling company.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Wow, that's a good point. Hey, by the way, we got some questions that I think we should get to from people who are
Well, let's do them, Tony. Why don't we do them?
Zoel wants to know how uncomfortable were those jean shirts? They were very comfortable, actually. And here's a note that's going to make you go, oh, my God. That jean shirt that I'm wearing, within the last 2 years, I donated it to Goodwill.
Really?
Yeah, I could have maybe made some money for that. Adam DeMoy's got two questions. What was your favorite Vincent match? My favorite Vincent match was when he took a shit on some paper towels from Georgia Pacific and rubbed it in your face, Adam. And the second one is now that you practice with your lawnmower 3.0 on Bugs Nuts, Tony. And Adam, never talk about my fucking dog, you no good redneck piece of shit. Okay, that takes care of Adam's questions. RJ Grzinski says, Nitro party at the next Top Guy weekend?
Why not?
Let's ask the big guy himself. Right.
I'm for it.
Yeah. And Rajiv wants to know, what are the differences in prepping for Nitro back then and prepping for Dynamite today?
Well, he doesn't prep. So there's that.
There's that. I have a lot more time to prep. Had a lot more time to prep for Nitro back then, but because of what I'm doing today, my prep time is, and I don't have to worry about prep time. I mean, that, again, back then I was the lead announcer, so I had to do a lot of prep. Now I'm not, and we really depend on Excalibur for a lot of this stuff. And I have to say, he does a lot of prep.
Oh, yeah, he is perhaps the most prolific prepper. I mean, it's like him and Mike Tenay, right?
Yes. Yes. And I would think that Excalibur even does more prep than Mike Tenay. It's not a knock on Tenay. It's just that Tenay just came with things off the cuff. Excalibur has a printout of stuff. He has his own notes and he prints them out. So he knows all that stuff. And kudos.
We see Scott Hall coming to the ring here. He's going to be taking on Chris Jericho on Monday Nitro. It's going to be a big opportunity for Chris Jericho to be in there with Scott Hall. Of course, normally Jericho had been working cruiserweights and the Alex Wrights and that sort of thing. But now here he is getting the little rub from Scott Hall, who at the time is one of the top acts as a part of the Outsiders and the NWO and the tag champs. And man, they keep showing that lady and her kid. Let's track it, Scott Hall.
Can it speak? Go ahead.
Hey, yo.
Big guy.
Look at Pincher.
Hey, yo. You probably know by now that the NWO is taking a little survey at every town we go to.
And listen to how he says WCW.
And it's real simple. We want to know if you're with us
or
if you're against us. we want to know if the reason that all you people are here in Charlotte and everybody watching Monday night on TNT, are you here to see WCW?
He didn't do it the way you
didn't
thought.
know. Yeah.
He's going to say or twice. He used to, at least.
Yeah.
Big pop for WCW here in Charlotte.
Sure.
Hey, suck it, Eric. The Horsemen were over.
Or
Two oars.
you want to jump on that black and white express? Are you here to see the...
Well, I couldn't hear nothing. Everybody's booing. You may want to try again.
Let's try that one more time. I said, are you here to see the...
Loser!
Time to take that one back to the drawing board.
Survey says, one more for the good guy.
He should be a politician.
I like that. That's good heel stuff where even if they're not on your side, you just say they are. Just lie. Just bullshit.
lie.
Yeah.
Ric Flair always said we're heels, we lie. Even when we lose, we lie about the next day. That's why Rick was so good at look at this, brother. Rick was so good at he could get beat. Rick could. And then he'd talk and lie about the next day and he'd still have his heat.
We see Chris Jericho coming to the ring. He recently submitted to a giant swing, which I don't think I've ever seen before. Claudio spanned his ass around, not once, not twice, but 30 plus times. That's enough.
That's enough.
And he's had enough. He's no longer the Ring of Honor champion. The Jericho era of Ring of Honor may have ended, but the Claudio era is beginning again.
Yeah. Did you notice him tapping that one? He must have really done it quickly.
Well, we all know you don't have to tap to lose a match. I mean, I don't think Bret Hart tapped when he lost Survivor Series 1997 to come over to WCW. I don't think he tapped there.
Yeah, maybe not. But I guess maybe he's just look at the
man. Jericho is running 90-0 out here, and it looks great.
Yeah.
Who would have thought, back here that Jericho would be the big star he became? He's about to, of course, have a meltdown and start to go crazy and really develop a big personality on his own with Monday Night Jericho and all that through 1998. But I think a lot of people, at this point, he's been in the company for a little over a year. He's had great matches, but this roster is so heavy with stars at the top, the Hulk Hogans, the Stings, the Lex Lugers, the Roddy Pipers, the Kevin Nash, the Scott Hall, on and on and on. But he's going to emerge in 98, much like in a different way Goldberg did, of course, totally different performer. But that was kind of the year of both of those guys. We know Goldberg becomes the world champ, but along the way, man, look at this. Chris Jericho trying to sneak one.
Yep.
This is really the first step in that direction, I think, for a focus on Jericho. And you want to talk about a guy who made the most, and as your old pal JR would say, maximize your minutes.
Mm-hmm.
He made the most of it, man.
And it's amazing that he's still doing it today. And of course, he's in his 50s. And but still, he just obviously not the Chris Jericho of the past as far as what he can do in the ring.
Right.
But he still does some great shit in the ring. He does.
Of course, he's mocking him being Scott Hall here, mocking the Big Show.
Right.
With a chokeslam of his own on Chris Jericho. Big Show, or as we're calling him here, the Giant, is going to be taking on Kevin Nash in what you just called the biggest match ever because of the size of the guys.
Yeah. I didn't call it the biggest match in the history of our great sport.
Not
What was
yet.
wrong with me?
Yeah, missed opportunity.
Yeah.
Here we go, setting him up for the outsider's edge.
Look at Jericho trying to hook.
No avail.
No avail. It's too late once you're up in that position, Hook, because he'll just drop his body down with you. You can only hope for a misfire, but he didn't get it here in this phenomenal athlete. Got to give him his due. I know, Larry, It's a very bitter pill to swallow when you see him win, but Scott Hall wins once again.
It's only a bitter pill to swallow if I'm the guy laying there, but that's not going to happen. I used to wipe the mat with this punk's face, and believe me, I didn't forget how to do it.
Well, remember, Scott Hall on
So we're setting up something with Scott Hall and Larry Zbyszko. Of course, they're going to hook up in early 1998. Scott Hall is a young man in the AWA trying to just get any break. An experienced veteran, more towards the top of the card, Larry Zbyszko, did him a favor and let him, quote unquote, go through. It was uncommon that you didn't just have a guy like Scott Hall in that era doing an enhancement job. Instead, it goes the distance, and it meant a lot to a young Scott Hall's career. Scott never forgot it. He reciprocates the rub here with Larry Zbyszko, and it's yet another great story about the loyalty and friendship of Scott Hall.
I love how you can see the tape rewinding in that 1-800-COLLECT.
That was fun, wasn't it?
That was fun, yeah. We have a couple more questions very quickly. Bobby wants to know, none of the promos were scripted at this time, correct? Correct. I don't know if they scripted in the WWE during the 90s, but we didn't, and we still don't on Dynamite. And who would you say had the better mullet? RJ wants to know, you, Eddie, or Finlay. I think Fit Finlay's was the best.
Fit Finlay had the better mullet at the time, but yours today, I mean, you have a better mullet than Eddie or Fit. I hadn't seen Eddie's lately, but Fit doesn't have one.
Yeah, I'm going to get rid of it here pretty soon.
No.
Yeah, I've had enough of the long hair.
Can we do it on the program? We want to see you get a haircut live on the show.
I might be able to tape it. I'm not going to do it live.
Why not? We want to be able to ask questions like, is that shirt comfortable? That was a great question you took a break for earlier.
Zoel, I'm sorry, he's shitting on you.
I'm not shitting on anything.
Yeah, you are.
The New World Order.
You ever have sex to that song?
No.
Why not?
I'm just not.
I think it could have been fun. So something for Lois, you know.
Yeah.
Following announcement's been paid for by the New World Order. Come suck my dick. I mean, that would have been. Do you think before some of the guys hung out with some of their special companions that would just hang out after the matches, they had Neil Pruitt come along? Following announcement's been paid for by the New World Order. Drop the laundry, ladies. I think that could have worked.
Wow.
What?
The shit you get by with on this program.
Well, fuck me to tears. I thought we were just trying to have some laughs, some giggles, some jokes.
We are.
I forgot your new practice. Should we tell everybody about your new practice?
My new practice, what?
Well, I found out from, again, you know, I got you're an office stooge. That's been well established. Well, I got Schiavone family stooges.
Uh-huh.
I won't say which one of your sons sent me this text, but one of your sons texted me that you've started a new practice, and we haven't spent any time talking about it here on the program.
Okay, what is that?
I mean, I haven't asked you about it. I decided I'd wait and ask you live on the air. So I'm asking you now in a loud and clear voice. Is it true?
No.
You don't even know what it is.
Well, the build up.
Is it true that you're now practicing? Had to Google this. Semen retention?
Nope.
Oh, you're letting it fly.
No.
Well, I mean, how long have you been holding this batch?
Okay, so you don't semen retention is not something you practice, you dumbass.
I mean, I think I'm looking at you doing it right now.
It just happens. You don't practice it.
Close your eyes.
Okay, listen, I can't wait. I'm not going to be around when you're in your 60s.
I won't be either at this
Okay.
point.
Well, anyway, I can't wait.
I mean, are you telling me you think Ric Flair in his 70s is practicing semen retention? Because I bet he's not.
No, I'm sure he's not. But everybody's different.
I've been to JR's condo. He ain't practicing it in there.
Everybody's different.
It looks like a fucking Pollock painting, all of his furniture. Seriously.
So you're just saying he lets it fly and leaves it there?
It's everywhere.
Sit over here, boy. No, I can't sit there. I just painted that last night.
I'm not even exaggerating. Whenever I visited JR's place, I just decided to stand. Well, come on in, have a seat. I'll just stand.
Oh my God, Goldberg
is checking on a prone Mongo McMichael. Who's laying in the back like he's been attacked. JJ's giving him the business.
Not scheduled to wrestle, and Brain, you were kind of right, but really in the wrong way.
You want another victim? You got to watch this guy Goldberg. He's a time bomb.
The beginning of the Goldberg character here in late '97. Of course, he debuted in September. He's becoming a bigger and bigger star. But we see the Goldberg camera here, really almost by accident, following him all the way out. What a cool shot! You know, he doesn't quite yet have the whole pyro entrance and all that jazz, but he's going to become a big star. I mean, we're just a handful of months in, and he's already got some momentum.
Stone Cold Bill Goldberg is a sign.
Mongo's back up, and he's coming down. Oh, attacks him from behind. Goldberg, not really known for his selling.
I was thinking the same thing. Go face first, Bill. You can pop back up.
When a 300-pound defensive lineman runs and attacks you from behind as he's running down the aisle, you should probably fall down.
Yeah, I think Goldberg and Mongo would have been really good in the shoot fight.
Oh yeah, but Goldberg probably would have taken the L there.
Yeah,
Mongo would fight dirty.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Two big ass D linemen too. Hey, so talk to me a little bit about your semen retention that you're practicing.
Okay.
Like you're denying that you're practicing it. When was the last time you pew, pew, pew?
I can't remember.
So you're practicing. You're like,
it's not a practice.
I mean, I'll tell you this, if they awarded belts for it, I think you'd be a 3-time black belt.
Okay. So has anyone ever practiced constipation? No. So
I know Dan Silva doesn't. It's the reason we were late recording today.
Okay. So don't say you practice semen retention, because what in the world is Kimberly doing?
I thought that looked like her impression of an old Ric Flair trying to do the flip in the corner who couldn't quite do it yet.
Oh, I told you that she really had heat with the girls.
Yeah.
Yeah. They all thought that she couldn't dance. She wasn't really a dancer, and she was just there because she was DDP's wife and Eric's friend. And I always thought she was fine. I mean, they practice these routines, and but anyway, just another byproduct of the egos of pro wrestling that have spanned the decades. We're in the sign era too, obviously.
Yep.
And some pretty cool signs I've seen. Speaking of cool.
Here he comes. Conan and Scott Norton. I like where the cameraman kind of forgot for a minute. It's the NWO. And so he cocked it to the side. I really like when they do that. It felt like old episodes of Batman. Remember that back in the day, whenever they'd show the villains on screen for Batman, they'd sort of tilt the camera.
Right. Hey, by the way, saw Lodi and Lenny at WrestleCade.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you saw him down at Chili's or something. Well, we've touched on the fact that Alex Skipper has quite a career, and I think that was Applebee's, our neighborhood grill.
It was Applebee's, that's right, that you talked about. But you know what? You got to work.
Oh no, I'm for it.
Yeah, if it wasn't for you, I'd still be pouring coffee at Starbucks. So you got to work.
Dude, I'm still slinging mortgages. Like, I'm having fun too. I'm not disparaging it. I'm just saying, as we see this guy coming out, Scott Steiner, I ran into him once at a Shoney's. Fun fact, quick update to everybody here. That Shoney's is no moss.
And I had heard that they were going to try to open a bar, but I guess that never happened.
I think Steiner's wound up selling out. I think he's totally out of that property completely.
Right.
So if you were hoping to go get yourself some ham cubes, you may have missed your opportunity in Ackworth, Georgia.
Yeah. When Scott was back in the day, and of course when we were talking about it, and actually I went to eat there at the Shoney's with Lois and Paul Bromwell one time, and Scott was really, really nice to us and very welcoming. And but I often wondered back then, why Shoney's? I mean, there's a lot of other franchises you can get into that are probably more well known than Shoney's. There's not many Shoney's around anymore.
Right.
But there's why not be a franchise owner if in fact you could?
Sure.
Of like Applebee's.
Well, I think what he was looking for is he thought the buffet gimmick would be affordable for people in the area. It would be something that would be easy to get right off the interstate. And
Right.
I think it was going to be one of the first Shoney's that served alcohol.
Right.
Because he wanted to invite his Freakzillas down there. It's amazing, the evolution of our relationship with the Steiner brothers on this program. Once upon a time, as you may recall, Scott Steiner called and tried to threaten my life, and we recorded it and had some fun with it.
It was tremendous.
But these days, this past July, they were both in Nashville, and I had the greatest conversation with Scott Steiner, and I didn't think about trying to run away, not one time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he would have caught my fat ass. Just saying.
Yeah.
Things have evolved.
Yeah.
So listen, how much do you think you're retaining right now?
I don't know. I don't. How do you measure it? Do you measure it in fluid ounces? You measure it in. You do in ounces. I didn't know if you.
Well, now listen.
Listen, in fluid ounces or squirts, or I don't know.
The ropes, yeah. Well, here's the thing. I think it's probably actually milliliters. I figure milliliters.
Okay.
Not millimeters, milliliters.
Okay, that's probably a European thing, but go ahead.
Well, but what I'm saying is just based on volume. Well, Rick Steiner nearly died with a power slam there.
Did you see that?
Scott Norton just dumped him right on his head. I hope Rick's okay. He's still moving.
Yeah.
He probably
I think he's probably mad right now.
Yeah, there's no doubt. He's jammed up and looking to tag out probably.
Yeah.
Anyway, no, he just jumped right up to the top rope. I'll be damned.
How about that?
Anyway, let's talk about your seminal fluid.
No,
back in the day, I think everybody listening to this remembers that someone looked at you and said, Tony, you got enough cum in you to shampoo a water buffalo.
Right.
So that makes me think we don't need to measure you, especially if you're practicing semen retention.
Right.
We don't need to measure you with milliliters. We can move up to ounces.
Okay.
So the question is, like, if you're watching on YouTube, which is WHW on YouTube.com, like this is a 12-ounce Diet Coke here. Based on as long as you've been retaining, you think you could fill that up, put a little Dairy Queen swirl on the top, something like that?
I don't know if I could or not. Are we like so fucking bored in this show that we got to talk about this?
No, it's a new trend sweeping the nation. Semen retention. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, like there's a guy that we're both friends with.
Yeah. I think it's a bullshit term.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it's a bullshit term. Retention. It's not.
Well,
like
do you think
it's not like your bladder. It's nothing. There's not a second bladder for you.
How do you know?
Because I ain't never heard of it.
Well, there's lots of things you ain't never heard of. Doesn't mean it doesn't make them true. You know what? Now I might be thinking about this. This whole semen retention thing might actually be a scam made up by guys who can't get laid.
Bingo.
So they're not saying they can't get laid. They're just saying they're practicing semen retention.
That's exactly what it is. You hit the nail on the head, buddy. See, you talked yourself into a fact.
You know what
which
else?
Is very unlike us here on WHW.
You know what I realized too? Maybe sometimes if you don't practice semen retention, but you do it where you're not supposed to.
Yeah.
Like maybe Ric Flair has before. Maybe he didn't get semen retention. Maybe he got semen detention. He wasn't allowed to anymore.
Son,
can't do that around here. You're in semen detention.
Who put you in semen? Well, I know who put you in semen detention.
Probably number 2.
Oh, Ric Flair's life. Hasn't it been a joy?
Oh, it has been.
And you know what? One of the great things about it is you've kind of been on the front row for it. You've had a ringside seat for it the last X number of years. Wow.
Yeah. The last 7 years or so, or I can't, well, it's 9 years now since I met Rick.
Wow.
Yeah, just over 9 years. It was November of 2013, I think. So how about that?
Yeah.
9 years of being on the front row. And thankfully I didn't get any on me. Maybe he's still in detention. I don't know.
Wow, we still got a long time to go in this show.
Well, I'll tell you this. It looked like Rick Steiner didn't have a long time to go when Scott Steiner just dropped him right on his neck.
Oh, Scott Norton, man, just boom.
Look at the Rick Steiner's face grimacing.
Yeah. Can't take too many of those. I tell you what.
I think they're about to hit a little commercial here. And Tony, we're going to take one too at 122.23. There it is. I got it. And we're going to take a timeout right now to chat you guys up about how good we're sleeping. Science tells us the best way to achieve and maintain consistent deep sleep is by lowering our core body temperature. Temperature-controlled sleep repairs your muscles after a hard day's work. It improves your cognitive functions. You can always start your day feeling sharp and alert. And it looks like Rick Steiner was going to get put to sleep right there. He woke up pissed off. You will not wake up pissed off if you have a chilly sleep. Now, things are changing, though. Sleep Me is the new home for chilly sleep. Now, don't worry. It's the same great sleep that Chilly Sleep offered, but under a new name. Sleep Me makes the coldest and most comfortable sleep systems available. They create the environment that meets your body's natural need for lower core temperatures. They promote deeper, more restorative sleep. The Chilly Sleep makes the Uller, that's what I've got, the Cube, and the Doc Pro sleep systems. They're water-based, temperature-controlled mattress toppers that fit over your existing mattress to provide you your ideal sleep temperature. You see Coach Rosie in the chat saying Chilly Sleep really works. You're damn right it does. It's the reason this time last year, I gifted it to my parents. I gifted it to Casio Kid. I got doodoo-trucking.com on it. I got the Gimmick Attorney on it. I got everybody I know rocking the Chilly Sleep, and it's 10 out of 10 across the board because these mattress pads keep your bed at the perfect temperature for deep, cold sleep. They're designed to help you fall asleep, stay asleep, and give you the confidence and energy to power through your new day. And speaking of things that are new, they got a new Doc Pro sleep system that I can't wait to try. I'm thrilled with my Uller, but as you guys know, I'm getting a new bed. It has 2 times more cold power than other models. It's whisper quiet. It has a tubeless mattress pad design that allows for 5 times more cooling contact. Compare it with your brand new Sleep.me app for enhanced device control and sleep scheduling. My wife has it scheduled, Tony. She gets in a warm bed, it cools her off so she doesn't wake up all hot and sweaty, and then it warms her up to wake her up. And I have it on good authority. Big Booty Judy does the same thing. Think of this as like a smart thermostat for your bed, Tony. I'm sleeping better than ever, and I know you and Lois are too. And I think we got a special deal right now.
Right you are, Morning Breath. Head over to sleep.me/WHW to learn more and save 25% off the purchase of any new Doc Pro, Cube, or Uller sleep system. Now, this offer is available exclusively for What Happened When listeners and only for a limited time. That's sleep, sleep.me/WHW. Take advantage of our exclusive discount and wake up refreshed every day.
Come on now. Love us some Chilly Sleep. I like that music too. I think we could vibe to this. And as we jump over to the chat, and by the way, you can be a part of the chat. That's right. We're doing them live now. Patreon.com/WHW Monday or adfreeshows.com. Either way. Friend of the show, Pondwater Dave says, when Tony finally cuts loose, it'll resemble a can of silly string. Think about that. Just, you know, you ever go by like one of those Ford dealers and they got one of those inflatables going everywhere? Or maybe you turn on a hose, but you're not holding the other end and it just goes everywhere. I think that's what your gimmick's going to be like when you start firing down.
Yeah, like a fire hose on one of those comedy movies, right?
Yes. Just pew, pew, pew. It looked like JR's apartment. When I was telling Tony, when I was telling Dave Silva, no, I didn't sit down at JR's. I just stood the whole time. He said, why? And I said, well, it looked like an explosion at a Krispy Kreme factory. Everything was glazed. The carpet was crunchy.
You ever see the movie Roxanne with Steve Martin back in the 90s?
No, I'll watch it as soon as we finish though.
Yeah, it is a great comedy movie, and he's the chief of police, and he's in his office, and his firefighters are a bunch of knuckleheads, and as he's in his office, one of the firefighters goes way up in the air while trying to hold on to a fire hose. It's a good.
That was probably Rick with his Peter. Let's get back to the show. You can kill that music, Phil. We're at 122.23. I'm gonna count us in here. We're gonna have a poster. It says "Dear Santa, all I want is," and underneath it says "Regal 316." Mixed messaging here. In 3, 2, 1, play.
Well, back on Monday Nitro during the commercial break, David Penzer, our ring announcer, announced to the fans here that Bret Hart will be making his debut on Nitro still to come. As we approach the end of hour number 2, and we will still have another hour to go, still have a lot of questions about Bret Hart. You can hear the reaction of the fans. Very uncertain about what Bret Hart brings to our program. We also have to wonder.
So there you go. Bret Hart still to come. And now we see Booker T in singles action. It's not just the Harlem Heat. It's Booker T as a single. We know 1998 is going to be his breakout year. He's going to do that series of matches with Chris Benoit, the best of 7, which I guess Tony Khan was a fan of. We got a best of 7 going on right now.
Yes, we do. And it has been sensational. And what has been incredible about the best of 7 that's going on in AEW right now is that no one's gotten hurt yet.
Right.
So I'm just amazed at the stuff that they do. God. And I tell the kids all the time, man, I really appreciate what you're doing to make a great TV show, but Lord of mercy, just bring it down a notch, which they never will do. But
speaking of bringing it down a notch, here comes Liz coming out to the ring. She's out front chilling, and you know who that means has to be behind her.
Lately as well. So she's got the credentials. Elizabeth. And, well, you do see fans of the NWO, even though Scott Hall came out and took his survey and was very obvious what in the world was going on and what happened, that this was solid WCW country. Scott Hall made that survey. You see NWO fans out here.
We were anticipating, and here he comes finally.
Madness himself, the Macho Man, Randy Savage along.
What do you think's up with the delayed entrance there, Tony?
Well, I wouldn't say that the Macho Man was not ready because he was always ready.
Yes.
They're probably talking over shit in the back. I would think. Because, you know, we really did shit on the fly.
Right.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff we do on the fly now because it's the nature of the business. And you can't tell me that WWE doesn't do shit on the fly as well. It's the nature of the business. But it was even more so back then. Eric said many times, he said, we cannot let what we have planned and what we have on the format lock us down when we have a great idea. And I always thought, and I still remember him saying that. In other words, you know, we may have something for this match, but if we got a better idea, and we come up with the idea like in the middle of the show, let's go with it.
Right.
I always thought that was pretty creative. But I also know now, because I work a lot closer with Tony and QT and Sanjay and all of us and Pat Buck, I know that a lot of times changes really put a stress on a lot of people.
Right.
Television production people, announcers, wrestlers. And even though back then when I heard Eric say that, I thought, well, that makes sense. Now, I would rather not see it, just because but it's the nature of the business have changes. So back to what you were saying, they're probably talking about what they're going to do back there, or I don't know.
It's interesting to think about this program in particular, and just how much is going on, because we're just 13 days away from the biggest pay-per-view of all time. What was your expectation for Starrcade at this point?
My expectation was it was going to be the biggest thing I'd ever been a part of.
Wow.
I really thought that. I mean, God, Hogan and Sting.
Does
Yeah,
this feel like the biggest run of your career at this point? When you look back and you think about the high points, is this maybe it, this era?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because of the ratings I would look on Entertainment Weekly. We subscribed to Entertainment Weekly back then. I don't even know if they're still having Entertainment Weekly, because basically it turned into a rag. But back then we would look at Entertainment Weekly and they would have a section where they would have the top rated cable shows. And we were like a couple of times number one.
Right.
And I would look at that. And I remember looking at that and showing it to Lois. I said, can you believe this? So I realized, how big we were back then. And that's why it's hard to fathom why we went down. And I think Bobby, KF5GTX on our chat, said the reason that WCW went down was because of Brad Siegel and Jamie Kellner and their dirty-ass deals, and Bobby's probably right. In reality, WCW went down because it was owned by a television company and was not its own entity. In other words, I think if let's say that this company right now was owned by Eric Bischoff,
right,
I think it would have had a bigger shelf life. Because look at this. It's owned, let's say WCW in 1997 is owned by Eric Bischoff.
Right.
And they're coming to the end of a contract, right?
Right.
You think there's other cable systems that wouldn't want to pick up WCW for all the numbers it's doing?
Of course.
We were locked in.
Yeah.
So that's the reason we failed. I mean, there are many reasons we failed, but that's the main reason. And that's why, when I don't know the business dealing that's going on, because to be honest with you, I don't stay up with it. But there was a time when the big rumor was Disney was going to buy the WWE, or maybe Fox was going to buy the WWE. I don't know. You probably know more about it now than I do. And I remember thinking, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. A wrestling company has to own wrestling and then bring it out. It's just like the shows on Netflix, right? They're not owned by Netflix. They're production companies.
Right.
So they'll sell their show to Netflix. That's the only way it can work. So that's why I think when there's a lot of naysayers out there that say that, AEW is the next WCW, bullshit. We're not. Fans getting in the ring.
Take a look at that.
Yeah.
Was Savage all over that shit or what?
Yeah, buddy. He was ready.
And a fan got a little man wanting to be a big man. That's the way it always is. And as the action continues, a double axe handle blow. Another night in the Crowbar Hilton.
Just part of the madness that surrounds Randy Savage.
No doubt about that. And Nitro.
That was a great job by Tenay.
And Bobby Heenan trying to cover and bring it back in.
Yeah.
They were really good, and it's a shame that neither one of them felt like they could trust you or that you liked them. Just
that's all a fucking piece of shit lie.
I like every now and again you can tell when I actually hit a nerve and it gets under your skin. And talking about Bobby Heenan, that'll do it.
Yeah, boy.
Why don't you tell everybody that good joke you told me once about Bobby Heenan?
You will never pull that out of me.
Well, what if I just dropped it and we did some Tony Reed's rap? Damn it. People are all about the Tony Reed's rap. Oh, man. Big Tumble by Booker T.
Yeah.
Who, by the way, was in the news this week. I guess people thought there was a he said, she said between myself and Booker T. I'm happy to let everybody know me and Booker fine. Nobody's upset with anybody. Everything's cool.
Got a question from Bryant Herzema. Brian, I hope I pronounced that right.
You didn't, but we don't care.
Okay, how much is Eric talking to you in your headset during a show like this? Also, if not Eric, is anyone talking to you? During this era, Eric was never talking to me. Again, he was too busy being a part of the NWO. Later on, it would be Terry Taylor. But nobody was talking to me at that time. Pondwater Dave, we missed Pondwater Dave's.
Oh, you're going to read that out loud? Please do.
Yeah, Pondwater Dave. This is the Pondwater Dave show.
That's the thing. Pondwater Dave has a podcast.
Yeah.
We appreciate both of you listening to it.
Yep. I'll read it in Pondwater Dave's voice.
Okay. I can't wait for this.
We need Tony in that scene from Ghostbusters spraying the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. Who you going to call? Nutbusters. Yeah.
His next question was probably when does Charlotte's new Funko Pop come out?
Oh, God.
It was a legendary story about that.
Oh, really?
Oh, my gosh. Hey, but this is a fun show here. We see, I think this is the third or fourth appearance by the Nitro Girls.
Yeah.
Where are you at on the Nitro Girls? Much like Frilly Toothpicks.
Okay, I'm for them.
Yeah, me too.
I was always for Spice. She was my girl. She just oozed charisma, beauty, could dance.
If she's oozing, she should go to a doctor. I don't think you're supposed to do that.
You are. Oh, God.
What?
Oozing, retention, taking shits.
By the way, I just I thought about running an indie show.
Yeah.
And I was trying to figure out what I could, like, I need a domain to sell tickets.
Yeah.
This is real. On the other screen right now, I just went over to GoDaddy. You know what, Silva, if you know how to do this,
oh boy,
maybe you can share your browser and you can pull up GoDaddy.com and I'll have you type it in and we'll share it and let everybody see what I just discovered. We're trying some new technology, folks. We hope you're watching over on YouTube. It's WHW on YouTube.com. But if Silva knows how to do that, it'll appear. And if he doesn't, then I'll just tell you what to do.
Okay.
And it looks like we're going with me just telling you what to do. So go to. Oh, here we go. Oh, he's figuring it out. We're learning things.
Freaking Dave is on top of his. Oh,
we're seeing all the porn that Dave watches right now over on YouTube.
Buy, sell, repeat.
All right. We got to figure out the Zoom function. Maybe
watch, jack off, repeat. Go ahead.
Type in hot dogs and handshakes.com. I really felt like hot dogs and handshakes would be an excellent domain for an indie company. And when I said to myself, let's go buy it. God. Hotdogsandhandshakes.com is not available. It's taken. Someone already owns hotdogsandhandshakes.com.
Okay.
How disappointing is that, Tony?
Why would that be a good name for an indie ticket type hot dog and handshakes?
I know you're not really plugged in the internet wrestling community, but there is a narrative out there that independent promoters don't pay very well.
Oh.
Because frankly, most of their shows are, not huge financial successes. So instead of quote unquote paying the boys, they pay the talent in what's known as hot dogs and handshakes.
Hot dogs and handshakes. Wow.
So if you were working underneath Tony, we would say, I can't pay you today, but I do have you this delicious hot dog, and I want to thank you for making the 17-hour drive in. Hit him with that handshake.
Back in the ECW days, it was only a handshake because Paulie ate all the hot dogs himself.
There you go. Little known fact. Learning new things around these parts.
You sure do.
Tony, I see in the background you like low lights. Like you got low light in your set as we see Mr. Riggs doing his best against Chris Benoit. And I turn the lights on for our program here, but I can turn them off too. And I don't usually turn the big overhead lights on throughout my day. If you had to guess, do you like all the fluorescent lights on? Do you like low lights? What's your go-to around the house?
I like bright lights.
Do you really?
I have two lights here, one to my right, one to my left, that are television type lights. I'm
not complaining about your lighting. I was just wanting to know, like, do you walk around your house with all the fluorescents on and like the laundry room and all that?
Yeah. I always light up my rooms when I go in. And I have in the back here with something that you provided for me, a WHW neon sign.
Yes.
But unfortunately, with the camera that I use, the Mac camera, it bleeds out. It doesn't pick it up.
Gotcha.
And I've yet to really come up with a system to where I could use the, and you could see, and I could light the neon sign. So
does that set the mood for you? The neon sign?
No, it doesn't set the mood. I don't know what mood you're looking for me to set, but it does not set.
Well, you're up there gaming and stuff, I assume. Isn't that your gaming rig behind us?
My gaming rig is to my right here. I don't know if I can accurately show you my gaming.
You don't play it on the TV over there?
No, I do not. I got a TV right. I got a TV.
How many
right
fucking
here.
TVs you got in that room, dude?
I got two. There's a gaming right here, as you can see. Here's Master Chief.
Yes.
And if I move this little lamp here, you can see that there's also Mario, Luigi, and Yoshi over there, and Crash Bandicoot right there.
Listen, since we're doing a show and tell, why don't you show us how well Manscaped works and just stand up and drop trowel?
No, that would be for...
give us a visual aid of how to apply the downstairs deodorant.
The downstairs deodorant?
Yeah.
Okay.
I imagined you like pulling them tight and rolling it on. Is that not the deal?
No, I don't know.
Roll on the sack feels like a Tony Schiavone move.
Hey, Bug, stop licking.
Has he got a yeast infection in his paws?
No, something. That left ball of his is always in bad shape. And
he's got a yeast infection, Tony.
Maybe
Need to
so.
give him some medicine, some new food.
Okay. Could be. So anyway, there was my gaming area right there.
Hey, let's talk about what?
Go ahead. Let's talk about wrestling. Okay.
Well, literally anything besides your gaming rig and your dog's
Okay.
yeast infection.
Well, let's talk about some questions we have here.
Okay, I'm ready.
Eddie Prather wants to know, and let me do it like Eddie Prather. If you could, Silva, put me on.
Oh, what are you doing?
Well, that's how Eddie does. I mean, this is.
He brings him down to the tip of his nose.
He does, yeah. Eddie wants to know, when Terry Taylor talked to you, did he do it in rooster language? He might as well have, Eddie, because the English language he used on me fucking sucked. Coach Keith Morrison wants to know, Tony, around this time, how did you feel about the company? Was it positive? Or did you know it was going downhill? Captain or Coach Keith, I was really positive about the company at this time. I didn't really feel like we were going downhill until really after Starrcade. And that's it. Those are the only questions we have right now. But thank you for your questions and comments. Now, where are we in the show here? Oh, wow, we are. Benoit is just laying into. Look at this. Oh, man. Raven's
Flock tearing up Chris Benoit. Of course, we're setting up Chris Benoit versus Raven for the U.S. title. By the way, shout out to Bob Evans, the owner of the Hot Dogs and Handshakes domain.
Yeah.
Trying to teach independent guys how to make more money chasing their dream of being a professional wrestler.
It's not easy, man.
No kidding.
It is not easy. I mean, I think about this, and we're watching, I think about.
Hey, let's listen to this.
Okay.
No voiceover. Doesn't appear. But it's black and white. Very sinister footage. Highlights of Sting bursting through the canvas. Walking the top of the rafters. Man, you guys have built this match up for so long.
Right.
I mean, I know you're an old school JCP guy, and you were there at the very first Starrcade, and it was a happening, and it was special in 1983.
Yeah.
84, we're back. We got the $1 Million Challenge. 85, we got the Gathering. 86, we got the Night of the Skywalkers. I mean, those were some really, really big shows, and you've talked about some of the most fun times of your career. But here in 97, Did this feel bigger than all those other shows?
Yeah. This felt like the biggest thing I'd ever been a part of.
Yeah.
And we fucked it with a fucked up finish. We absolutely fucked it.
And we're going to be discussing that, by the way, in just a couple of weeks. We're going to be on the exact 25th anniversary, Nick Patrick, Bret Hart together. It's a thing we're calling the Fast Count right after AEW Dynamite ends on the exact 25th anniversary, Wednesday, December 28th. Jump on adfreeshows.com and hear directly from Eric Bischoff and Nick Patrick what was supposed to happen that night. And right now we've got JJ Dillon cutting a promo. Let's take a listen.
Come up with, I've agreed to.
You know, he's trying to weasel out of this thing constantly, week after week. He's coming up with stipulations, throwing them in, but you're coming back at him pretty good, JJ.
That's right. No matter what he comes up with, I think he's basically figured out. I'm going to say yes because I haven't said no to anything so far.
Well, the latest one, of course, he asking for a number of... apparently, we have got another uninvited guest.
So we see Eric Bischoff stomping to the ring here at 142, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52. If you're watching along with us on Peacock, it's season 3, episode 50, December 15th, 1997. We're going to set up this Eric Bischoff match. Eric Bischoff, we learned in this era, is a great on-screen performer, but it did feel like we started to see maybe a little too much of Eric on TV. Would that be fair to say? This is his 3rd time he's on camera tonight.
Yep. Yeah, I agree with that. And that's this era of Eric.
Yep.
And then the era of Vince Russo.
Yep.
I think really Tony Khan thinks about this, and I think that's why you don't see Tony Khan on camera very rarely.
Right.
I mean, we talk about Tony making the match. But as far as him coming out and being an on-screen personality like a JJ or something like that, I think he realizes it's best to, to keep the attention on the wrestlers and not him. But to Eric's defense, Eric was a hell of a character and a hell of a heel. But you're right, 3 times is probably too much. And obviously 2 times is too much to see JJ. Or 3 times. We've seen JJ 3 times with the Goldberg thing.
I mean, don't get me wrong. We're doing a good job of trying to sell the pay-per-view, but to me, it feels like, let's spend some time on some other matches. Not so much damn time on Eric Bischoff and Larry Zbyszko, but I guess we're arguing that, the controlling interest of Nitro is up for grabs. I mean, that's what we're talking about. That is it a WCW show or an NWO show is at stake? It just feels like that should have been on a match with real wrestlers, not Eric Bischoff.
Yeah. No, I agree. And they're going on and on and on and on about it.
It's a little long.
Yeah.
That's what she said.
Yeah, it is.
Man, JJ Dillon, is he one of those guys like Arn Anderson who has looked the same age forever?
Yeah.
I mean, JJ Dillon looked this same age in 1985, and here it is 12 years later. He looks the same.
Yeah, he does. He's not changed that much at all.
There you go. We got the match set up, and we're all ready now for Starrcade. By the way, Starrcade 97, we have covered, available in the archives, the all-time biggest WCW pay-per-view. Just to briefly run down the card and remind everybody what we're building towards. It's not just Hogan and Sting. It's Eddie Guerrero and Dean Malenko for the Cruiserweight title. It's Scott Norton, Vincent, and Randy Savage taking on Ray Traylor and the Steiner brothers. It's Goldberg and Steve McMichael. It's Saturn and Chris Benoit. It's Bagwell and Luger. It's DDP and Kurt Hennig. It's Zbyszko and Eric Bischoff. And they have a special guest referee who's coming to the ring right now. This is the debut of Bret the Hitman Hart, the hottest heel in the business, fresh off of the biggest story in the history of wrestling. And his first assignment is to referee Larry Zbyszko and Eric Bischoff's match.
Wow.
It was doomed from the start, but it's finally happening. Bret Hart is standing in a WCW ring. Let's take a listen.
Good deal, and apparently this is
That's my choice.
kosher with all parties concerned. Bret Hart, welcome to Nitro. Welcome to Nitro.
Took a long time to get here. And it's great to be here. It's great to be in Ric Flair country.
This is it.
That's the magic. So if you're looking for a referee, is that what you want? Referee? I would be honored to be the referee for this match.
Yo, Brad, man, 7.5 mil a year, 10 Turner's money. You, me, for life.
Well, I don't know what's your association, just what we've seen in the past.
Pretty happy.
He is very happy.
But do what you can, win if you can, but don't look to me for any help.
Whoa. 7.5 million a year, and you get this?
Because nobody knows better than I do what it's like to get screwed over by a referee. So you're on your own, Jack.
You're on your own, Bischoff.
I think he said Jack.
Jack
He
is good
Bischoff.
enough for me, too. Look at this guy's beside himself. Tony.
He's going down.
Whoa. Wait a minute. There may be some more book made here. As I said,
He's having an aneurysm.
to look more like, let's make a deal every day.
Brett, 7.5 mil a year, weekends off. Brett.
Tony, we're going to leave that up in the air as I throw it back to you guys. Enough is enough.
Bret Hart turns around on that one. Bischoff doesn't know what to do. You know, and he's trying to come up with a thought, a plan, and it goes.
What'd you think? That's the way of all the ways to debut Bret Hart with your wrestling organization, fresh off the Montreal screw job.
Yeah.
The most recent WWF world champion.
Right.
The hottest heel who's been headlining pay-per-views for them. I mean, making guys left and right.
Sure.
And now he's in the ring with JJ and Eric.
Yeah, they played off the referee, make him a referee because he was screwed by a referee, allegedly. Yeah, he should have wrestled.
Yeah, he should have wrestled.
Should have wrestled. He should have been like in the semi-main event. And I know, like, this is December 15th, so we got, like, what, 2 weeks?
Yeah, 13 days.
Yeah, for Starrcade. So you had to build something, but you could have done it.
You could have been building an opponent this entire time. Like,
Right.
It could have been Flair versus Bret.
Yep.
As the co-main event, and that would have been huge.
Yes, it would have been.
We're going to do it a month later for Sold Out, but why not Starrcade?
Why
Instead,
not now? Yeah.
we're focused on the silly referee shit from the other show. Like,
Yep.
By the way, they're in secondary position. If WCW was playing catch-up ball, I could see, well, let's do this because they're doing that and they're the top show, but they're not. And when we come back from commercial, we're still sitting in there with Mean Gene. Mean Gene's getting a ton of play here.
Yeah.
Right in the ring. And he's welcoming to Charlotte and to America the total package.
Yeah. Okay. Adam DeMoy wants to know, has Tony ever watched Wrestling with Shadows? I think it would be a good podcast.
Well, you're Tony Schiavone, so this is the part where you answer.
Okay. I've never watched that, or have I?
I don't think so.
What's
You want to watch it?
What's it about?
Oh, Jesus. Fuck, Tony. This is embarrassing.
No, it's not.
You don't know what Wrestling with Shadows is about?
I for some reason that strikes a memory chord with me, but I don't know.
Well, here's the deal. You may remember that Marvel had an interest in wrestling.
Yeah.
And they created a wrestler called The Shadow.
Okay.
And they, in the comic book, they killed the Shadow. And so he came back to life, but he brought his brother with him, and they were known as the Shadows. And so I can't believe you missed this, but in 1997, they filmed it. And I think it came out in 98 or 99. but it was called Wrestling with Shadows. And it was where these guys tried to get their big break in mainstream wrestling. But in order to do that, they had to beat the big boss of the Independents, which were a tag team known as the Shadows. And those are like the Marvel characters. So it was like regular guys who don't have like supernatural powers wrestling a tag team called the Shadows. So that's Wrestling with Shadows. But being the Marvel affiliate spinoff, I just thought you'd eat that up. And here you are claiming to be a Marvel fan sitting in a Marvel seat. And you don't know about the fucking Shadows or their Marvel opportunity? How'd you miss that?
No, and your explanation didn't really excite me that much either. So glad I missed it.
Yeah. You missed a lot, I guess.
Yeah, sure did.
Buff Bagwell's not missing a lot. I hear he's clean and sober and doing great.
Yep.
And I'm excited to see what's next for Buff. I think he's got a big second act in him. What do you think it'll be? I don't think he's doing any more gigolo work. I don't know that he's going to still wrestle. What will be the next? Will he be a motivational speaker? Is he going to write a book? Is he going to do a podcast again? Or is he going to come in and beat the fuck out of MJF this coming Wednesday on Dynamite?
He's not going to do the latter, but I would think that he would just write a book maybe and make appearances.
So did you just say that Buff Bagwell and MJF are in a ladder match this Wednesday?
I did not say that. That's by the way, You a Lie is a shirt available at lowestrules.com.
You just slipped in MJF Buff Bagwell ladder. You said those words.
You slipped. You slipped it in.
I didn't slip in anything.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you slipped that one in.
Well, I'm not allowed to slip in anymore. I'm married.
Let me rephrase that. You slipped that in, you lying motherfucker.
Now that's just foul language that we're not going to stand for on this program.
Sorry to offend you, cocksucker.
Can you imagine? I mean, look at what's in the ring right now. Lex Luger, Buff Bagwell, Mean Gene. How fun would that have been at the bar after the show? At this point, Lex was partying a little bit. Was he not?
I don't know if he was or not. I don't know. I just being with Mean Gene at the bar would have been fun. I can tell you that.
Buff Bagwell has a cold sore on his lip. You know what they say about that?
Yeah.
What do they say about it?
That's herpes.
Whoa, that's offensive. Did you just say that Buff Bagwell has herpes here on WHW?
That's what they say, but that's not always the case.
Breaking news, folks. D'Angelo Boys and Nick Houseman and all the dirt sheet writers out there.
Do me a real big favor.
Okay.
Don't bring up Nick Houseman's name on our podcast again.
Okay.
Thank you.
Whose name should I bring up instead?
Okay. I don't know.
Well, I hope Wade Keller has the breaking news that Tony Schiavone was quoted as saying, Buff Bagwell has herpes.
I didn't say that.
That's not what I said. I wouldn't say something like that.
Yeah, that's what you would say.
You said that. I didn't say that.
You said it. You said it.
Said he had a cold sore.
You're the one that said it. I said, some people think a cold sore is herpes. And you said, oh, Tony, you just lied. You just flat out lied.
I am fat out.
Okay.
I'm fat in too.
Okay.
So what I said was, I think I made a visual observation and I said, I think Buff Bagwell has a cold sore. You know what they say about cold sores? And you go, yeah, Buff Bagwell has herpes.
I didn't say that.
You put it in quotes.
I did not. You put it in.
Jay reminds us from the chat, you can't fake herpes. Although I remember you tried once.
Oh, you faked herpes too.
When did I fake herpes?
You said that Cassio had herpes, which is a lie.
No, he does.
He does
He's
not.
eat up with it.
He's not eat up with it.
He got it from my sister. They both got it at the same time.
Okay.
At a flare up. I don't know how it happened. Man, Jay agrees. Tony sits on a throne of lies. Our group chat agrees with me. They all heard you say Buff Bagwell has herpes. And I don't know that that's true.
Okay.
I haven't seen the man in person. But you're his neighbor. He lives right up the street from you. Yeah. I know you don't visit him or Barry Windham.
Right.
Don't give a damn. It's old Tony.
Don't give a damn.
That's his nickname around AEW locker rooms these days. Tony, did the check clear yet, Schiavone?
Don't give a damn.
Don't give a damn.
Yeah.
Tony, when they take a break, we got to take a break because I want to talk about my big gold belt.
You do?
Yeah. I'll never forget the first time Bruce Pritchard came over to the house here.
Right.
He saw the big gold belt in my old office, which is across the hall where my wife started working during the pandemic. Now I'm sequestered to this room. And he points to the belt over my head and he says, "Hey, I came on that." And I thought, I'm sorry, what now?
What did he say?
And he said, "I came on that." And I said, what are you talking about? And he says, "Well, I'll never forget back in the day, there was like a NAPTE convention or something in Las Vegas. And Flair jumps out of the limo and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, you're here." Because of course he's working for WCW at the time. And he goes, "Hell yeah." So I guess everybody hung out. And then they wound up in his hotel room. And I guess maybe people had some fun. And then they discarded their leftovers and threw them on the big gold belt.
Yeah.
And he tells me this, and I thought to myself, "Self, I don't know that I really want this belt anymore." And then Bruce could see my wheel spinning, and he goes, "Now, let's talk about that. You think I'm the only person who ever made a deposit on that belt when Ric Flair held it all those years?" And that's when I started to really think, you know what? We have the makings of a movie on our hands. Bear with me, Tony.
Would it be called Wrestling with Shadows 2?
No, it would not.
Conrad's a lying son of a bitch?
It would not.
Okay.
Think about this, though.
All right.
Think about all the wrestlers who held it, all the wrestlers who partied with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if I get that belt to a lab, I'm not even kidding around here, I think I could have them scour the metal, find the particles, put it together, and create Jurassic Park for old wrestlers. This is how we brought the dinosaurs back 30 years ago. This is how we could get all those wrestlers recreated. Think about that, Tony. And I guess the question is, you reckon I could get a little Tony Schiavone out of that big old belt?
No, you could not.
They're in a break. We're at 159.20, 159.20. And we're going to remind everybody that we're coming to you from the Blue Chew Studios, which is why we've spent so much time talking about jizz and how Tony obtaining seminal fluid by choice, I think. Might be by force. Hey, let's go to a tight shot of Tony Schiavone and myself. This is our retention face.
I'm holding it in. I'm holding it in. I'm holding it in. I'm retaining right now. Yep, still in there.
But it won't be for long, thanks to Blue Chew. The nights are getting longer, but the breeze isn't the only thing that's getting stiff. This episode's sponsored by Blue Chew. So is the studio. A lot of penis talk while we're doing it. They sponsored the studio. Guys, we all know confidence can take you far in life. Sometimes you can bullshit your way out of the drive-thru at Starbucks and wind up on live television twice a week. Trust me, it can happen to you too. It's true in the bedroom, especially when it's time to step up to the plate. That's where Blue Chew comes in. Think of it as a hot tag for your wiener. Blue Chew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but in chewable form and at a fraction of the cost. So you can take them anytime, day or night. You can plan ahead or be ready whenever an opportunity arises. Think of that as like a blind hot tag for your wiener. Ooh. Now the process is simple. You sign up at BlueChew.com. You consult with one of their licensed medical providers, which will go something like this. Want your wiener to get real hard? Yep, I'm for it. And once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. And then look out, we're going to be digging trenches all over the house. The best part, it's all done online. No visits to the doctor's office. No awkward conversation. No waiting in line in the pharmacy. No more semen retention. Blue Chew's tablets are made in the USA. They're prepared and shipped directly to your door, all in a discreet package. But there won't be anything discreet about your package. You might even look down and say, "This is the biggest wiener in the history of our great sport." And if you can benefit from extra confidence when it's time to perform, we want you to chew it and do it. Have some better sex, y'all. Johnny, I think we got a special deal for our listeners, do we not?
Right, you are, Penis Bone Breath. And we've got a special deal trying Blue Chew free when you use our promo code WHW checkout. Just pay $5 shipping. That's BlueChew.com, promo code WHW, to receive your first month free. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And as always, we thank our buddies at Blue Chew for sponsoring What Happened When.
BlueChew.com. The promo code is WHW. Tony, how much is this shit? How much does Blue Chew cost?
$0.
Free. How do you beat free 99? It ain't even free 99. It's just straight free.
Yep.
$5 shipping. You'll be glad you did. Let's jump back into it. 159.20. Where we are. Home stretching it here on Monday Nitro from December 15th, 1997. In 3, 2, 1, play. To Diamond Dallas Page, Scum of the Earth, Nowhere Land. So far, we've seen the feud of the year with DDP and Randy Savage. This became the year of DDP, in large part thanks to the endorsement from Randy Savage with a feud here. But I like that we're sort of recapping the big WCW talent who tried to challenge the NWO and get shut down. We saw a video earlier about Roddy Piper. Even though that's not the plan, we're just reminding you, hey, Hogan dispensed of Piper, and the NWO dispensed of Diamond Dallas Page as well. The big question is, can Sting get it done? 13 days away. This is well done, and I think most people would agree, and I want your take, because you may disagree. In your opinion, do you think, great sign there, NWO, Nash was Oz. Do you remember, like in your opinion, is this the biggest, most successful angle in the history of wrestling, the NWO coming into WCW?
Of the history of wrestling?
History of wrestling. Because,
No.
listen, well, hang on now. Let me make my case, because I think it might be. I think you could argue this angle, the NWO, is responsible for the resurgence of wrestling in the late 90s that resulted in the biggest audiences that it ever had. Because not only did that growth happen here in WCW, but it inspired change from Vince McMahon. So we started to see more attitude, more Stone Cold Steve Austin, more realism, less, oh, this is an evil dentist. More, this is a redneck with a badass truck who's going to kick your ass and drink beer and flip you off. The NWO brought that realism to it. And even though there wasn't a proper finish to the story, I think you could argue this NWO angle generated more business than any angle in wrestling history.
That I agree with. I thought you were talking about Hogan versus
critical. Sting. Oh, yeah. No, I'm not saying Hogan Sting. That's not the best match ever.
Yeah.
But the NWO storyline.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing even close. I don't think.
No, I agree with all of that. Absolutely. Nothing even close to it. It was just, it became the lynch point for the Monday Night Wars, if lynch point is the right term to use, because it looked like that WWE was invading us.
Right.
And so it really, it helped both sides tremendously.
So we got Kurt Hennig here doing a promo. Of course, he's fresh off of putting a hurting on Ric Flair. He turned heel, turned against the NWO, slammed his head in the steel cage just a few months back, and here he is.
I am what I am, and what I am is the best.
He turns around and said, "Are we on air?"
In this crowd, I don't care if you're a weightlifter, I don't care if you're a football player, I don't care if you're any kind of athlete. I'll take on the challenge. Ric Flair, I'll bring it on then. I dare you. Well, the fans want to see it, don't they?
It's been said that he was drunk during this promo. Do you remember that?
Don't remember that, no, but it could have been.
What in the... Wrong town, wrong venue.
Flair, you don't want to wait till the 28th of December when we're inside a cage. You called me out tonight.
Yeah,
and
he was
tonight, I feel like
I can
dancing
tell.
all night and dance a little longer because I can, Flair. I'm bigger, I'm better, and I'm a whole lot cooler than Ric Flair.
Well, I guess the challenge has been accepted.
I can always tell the drunk.
Yeah, and
I can. I'm very good at that. My parents drank a lot, and I could always tell. I could just tell. I'm very good at telling when people are drunk, and he's drunk.
Represents that I am the United States heavyweight champion. And no matter what anybody says or thinks, there will never be another Kurt Hennig in this world of wrestling. And I don't care if you bring Ric Flair. I don't care if you bring Arn Anderson. I don't care if you bring 20 Horsemen. This is the proof that I am by far the best.
Ric Flair,
I don't see any argument.
he's been called out. He's been run down. It's going to be a...
Meltzer would say before the match, Hennig gave a promo that went nowhere fast.
Yeah.
But in hindsight, with the inside knowledge that he was maybe overindulging a little bit beforehand, that kind of makes sense because that was a rough promo, bro.
Yeah. And you notice how they hit the NWO music to cut him off?
Yes.
To wrap him up? That was Eric behind the scenes, I know. So let's get him out of there, hit the music to wrap him up.
So they go to commercial and they come back, and here comes quite a pop in Charlotte, North Carolina. Ric Flair is in the main event taking on Kurt. Let's take a listen.
Where Ric Flair became immortal. Where Ric Flair won the world title again. And that was quite a moment. Now, 4 years later, he comes out to face a man who's attempted to end his career many times. And it was...
That robe he's wearing is in a barber shop in New York City. It's also the robe that Vince McMahon would put on and strut around to mock him on Monday Night Raw on the build-up to the Royal Rumble match they had in Atlanta in January of 2002. And this match is not going to be much to it. It's going to be a short-lived affair, and everybody's going to get punched in the ding-dong from what I understand.
Yeah, right there.
There it is.
Yeah. With Ashley at ringside, or Charlotte at ringside. Bless her
Now
heart.
here
There
comes
she
the
is.
NWO immediately.
Yeah.
Scott Hall is in, and now here comes the beatdown. This is a chaotic circumstance. You see the drinks coming into the ring.
Yeah.
There's not only going to be debris and trash thrown in the ring and a whole bunch of NWO guys, but fans are going to start hitting the rings here. I mean, Ashley is fired up to see her
She
dad
is.
NWO
She
ass, isn't she?
This is great on many levels.
Belt shot from Kurt. They finally get the better of the NWO, got him down, and you see in the background security hauling fans off left and right, man. This is real heat here. If you want to get if you want to get some heat in Charlotte, North Carolina, beat up Ric Flair.
Yep.
Gangland style.
I'm really I go back to this many times that you give them what you advertise.
Yeah.
I really think they should have had more of a match before
Agree.
the guys hit the ring.
But if the guy's drunk, you probably call an audible.
Yeah, that's a great call. Absolutely.
I mean, I'm not saying that wasn't the original idea. I don't know, but I'm just saying, how about Buff Bagwell wanted to sell a punch from DDP, but couldn't get close enough because they had a leg lock on Flair in the middle. So he just leaned over it. Okay. Get me. This is the hot way to finish Nitro forever, though, man. Kurt Hennig is just off his rocker here. Everybody's out of the ring, but he's back in there like, no, I want to flip around, do some more silly shit.
What's wrong with Luger here?
He's selling it, trying to check on Rick.
Okay.
Obviously, how severe the injury is, but you can see the pain on the face of Ric Flair. We do know that WCW has banded together to ward off this NWO cowardly attack.
Yeah, look, this we still got 7 minutes on the show, and they went home earlier because of Kurt's condition.
Clearly not the plan.
Right. This is where they should have ended with Kurt and them backing up right here, but they still got more time. So,
well, if I had to guess, we're 13 days away, so it seems like we're due for an appearance.
Oh, there you go. Yes. Hey, with that in mind, my catchphrase now, which is "It's Sting." Did I use that back then, or is that something that kind of started with?
No, it happened back
there. Okay.
I love you weren't sure, you dumb motherfucker.
I wasn't sure.
It's your own shit. It turns out we asked this question at the top of the program. We can confirm right now, ladies and gentlemen, Tony Schiavone has shit for brains. Shit for brains.
I can't remember going, "It's Sting." I don't know.
You would do it when he rappels down from the ceiling.
I would say, it's, my God, here he is. Sting is here. I don't know if I ever said, "It's Sting."
When he repelled, you did.
Okay, so he's going to repel here, right?
I don't know if he is. Can we just watch and no spoilers?
Headache! Hey, Headache! How you feeling, boy? I got a spot right here for you, Headache. Headache! Come on out here and feel the bat!
He's called out Headache. And
Think about how much time we're just killing here, Tony.
Yeah, man, God.
There comes another fan. 2 more. There's one laying down. Look at referee Randy Anderson. Just gonna fuck that guy up right on camera.
the NWO music here at WCW Monday Night Show.
Woo, it's a fever pitch in Charlotte, isn't it?
You knew it would be.
Wow.
Holy smokes.
What a night.
Oh, my goodness.
Bret Hart makes an appearance. They carry Ric Flair out of
Dude, we're just filibustering here to kill time on this 3-hour Nitro.
God almighty. Yep.
And we're not done. We still got 5 minutes left in the program.
5 minutes left in the program.
James Elkery in the chat, which you can be a part of next week by joining adfreeshows.com or patreon.com/WCW Monday, writes, is WCW versus the NWO the biggest letdown in wrestling history? What say you?
I say yes. Here comes Bischoff out for a 4th time.
4th time, but here comes Hulk Hogan and the rest of the NWO. I know they just got ran off and backed off, but now they're coming right back out.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any fucking sense. We know, but that's what we're doing.
Couple other questions. Coach Rosie wants to know how much input the creative did I have at any time during the Nitro era, and the answer is 0.
Well, you did pitch David Arquette, so you had one idea, and it was David Arquette. So maybe don't offer Tony
Domino
anymore.
Chris wants to know. I haven't talked about him in a while, but Tony, what's your favorite Evan Courageous match? And Domino, it was any match that he wasn't in.
Here's a story you may not have heard, but this is a real story. Evan Courageous came backstage after a Monday Nitro one day and said, and Tony was in the backstage area, and he says, "Tony, did you see my last match?" And Tony goes, "I sure hope so."
Another one bites the dust. You see, what you don't understand is when you mess with the whole NWO, you mess with us for life. Now, that was an example of what happens when you mess with Hollywood and the Brotherhood. Now, if your hero, Sting, is so darn great, why was he out here to save the peasants? If your hero, Sting, is so God almighty, how come he didn't come out here to face Hollywood during my greatest moments?
Crowd's going nuts.
And just like I said before, Sting is a coward.
Oh, I don't like lights out.
There he is.
He's
There
in the
is
spotlight.
Sting. At the top of this building.
There you go. I didn't say it.
I don't hear the NWO talking right now.
Let's just watch our own backs Okay. right now.
That's it. I saw you up there.
Another fan.
Get out of here. Get him out of here.
That's the fourth fan jumping the rail so far today.
No mind games. You and me. We know you're in the building. Show us you're a bigger coward than we even imagined. Hey. Yeah. The lights go out again.
Jesus.
You don't have to tell me that.
I know, but does anyone see? You know, the spotlight was high. Okay.
I'm going to go.
You stay here, Heenan. Turn the lights on. This ain't no fun no more. Okay, you coward. Where is he? No, look at this. Where is he at? Look on top. You're hiding him. Where is he? Look on top of the entryway.
Hey, look what he's standing over. WCW.
It says it all. Coward now.
That says it all right there. There's the leader of WCW.
Come on, Sting.
Get a load of that, Hogan.
What a picture. Get in here.
A picture's worth a million
I'm
words.
not going to wait till the 28th. It's not fun anymore. Get in here. Get in here. Wasn't meant to be fun. Get in here, Sting. You coward.
I think you're watching the last year of the NWO. Hogan's
You're a
beside
lucky
himself.
man, Sting. Look, that's an eerie sight, guys. Not moving. Another day for you, my man. We can see that you fear Hollywood. We can see. Oh, no, you don't want to come down here. We're all here together. You don't want none of this. Fans, this Come on, Stinger. Here it comes. Riddle me this. He's going Riddle me that. To the ring.
How about it, Tony? What'd you think?
I think that it would have worked a lot better had Kurt and Flair gone a little bit longer.
Yeah, it definitely felt like they were filibustering, like they weren't quite ready, and we were just sort of shoving it out there. What say you?
Yeah. I say I agree. Hey, Lindsay wants to know, how do you get spray paint off of a baby oiled back?
Carefully.
Okay. And Pondwater Dave says, we really need a show on ad-free that is nothing but the commercials we miss.
No, we don't.
We have fun with those. Just go to Cumulus and listen to them there, Dave.
Hey, so Tony, I had a lot of fun today talking about Bret Hart's debut and taking a look at a pretty monumental Nitro. A lot of big stuff happened on this program. Just 13 days away from one of the biggest matches in all of wrestling history, certainly the biggest WCW pay-per-view in history.
Yep.
Hulk Hogan and Sting. And as a reminder to everyone listening to this, there's so much controversy around that match and the quote-unquote fast count. We're going to celebrate it on the exact 25th anniversary this coming Wednesday, the 28th. So Wednesday, the 28th, on the exact 25th anniversary, right after AEW Dynamite. Jump on adfreeshows.com. I'll be moderating a conversation with the referee of that match, Nick Patrick, and of course, Eric Bischoff. And we're going to talk about it. We're going to take your questions. We're going to celebrate the biggest match in WCW history on Wednesday, the 28th, right after AEW Dynamite. Tony, before I let you go, and we know next week we're covering Starrcade 96. What a great show that was, right up the road here at Municipal in Nashville. I don't think he gave enough thought, really, to my Jurassic Park idea. Do you realize how much DNA are on these championships behind me? And I think if you got the beard, if we put you in the fucking hat, look at there, you could be the doctor, the mad scientist putting together our Jurassic Park of wrestlers. I could see you, if you quit dyeing your fucking beard for 2 months, that's you right there, bud. Wah, 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 wah. Well, you can hum that as you're pulling the semen off the belt.
Yeah,
and recreating these famous wrestlers. What do you think?
In this egg right here, we have Roddy Piper. As soon as it hatches.
Wah, 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 wah,
oh,
wah,
in this
wah,
egg over here, Gene Kaniski.
wah,
We had to really dig deep for a belt there. Fortunately, we are able to come up with a whole tribe of Ric Flairs.
I don't know what we're doing, but ladies and gentlemen, it looks like it's about that time.
Like Dave Silva's waistline, we are just about out of time. See you next week on What Happened When. We come to you Wednesdays on Cumulus, but on Mondays, we come to you live and ad-free on
Patreon! Patreon.com/WHW Monday, and of course, adfreeshows.com.